Why aren't you listening to me? Doesn't anybody ever listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Blame yourselves for this fucking word salad that I just spit all over the goddamn plate. This is all your fault. You and I like me. That's it. I work under the cover of darkness because I don't need the rest of society to look in my eyes and know that is a bad person. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt's 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. I got bad news for all of you. Let me just drop this on you right now. Lily, just before we hit record, said, hey, do me a favor. Do not make me laugh too hard because I will pee. I got a thing happening with my bladder. So I got to play it straight this week, folks. I do apologize. You might as well just sit back and relax, and we'll have some sort of PBS sort of This American Life type of discussion about clouds and grass, because that's what I associate those shows with. I think that they only discuss outdoors, the great outdoors. You know what? It was weird. My head went to Prairie Home Companion. That's exactly where my head went. So in my head, that's again, here's a little window into my thought process, folks. I said I will have a discussion about like This American Life with clouds and grass, because This American Life went to Prairie Home Companion. Prairie went to out in a field, and field went to grass and clouds. That's how it went. And you know what? It happened that fucking quickly, folks. That's how my head goes, just like in a weird set of snapshots, to where we all wind up at Robert Altman's last film. That's where we wound up. Right there at Robert Altman's last film, which I have not seen. I wanted to see. I heard it wasn't bad, but unfortunately I did not tune in. Although I heard Lindsay Lohan is in it, and I'm sure she's fantastic in it. She's hosting Saturday Night Live. What the fuck? Why would you ever let her in front of a camera live ever again? You know, she's a mess. She's going to be doing crack and falling apart, and I guess that's the reason to tune in. It's for ratings, that they want people to go ahead and tune. Because, I mean, look, all right, they're doing well in their ratings anyway. I heard the Maya Rudolph show was funny. I don't know. I have not watched Saturday Night Live in quite a while, and that's my fault, folks. It's because, look, I'm very busy with my Saturday nights. I'm not doing anything. I tried. I actually, I would TiVo it up until the last couple of years, and then I would blaze through it, but they lost me. I don't know why. They just lost me. Because I'm old. I'm an old man, and I don't get references anymore. I don't know what any of this stuff means. I don't get comedy, and which is good, because I don't know if I told you this, folks. Today's a show without laughs. I have to scale it back. I can't make our friend Lily laugh because she's going to ruin a pair of jeans. And I'm sure there's a bunch of creepy fetishists out there who are like, oh my God, be funny. Please be funny. We want to hear a lady piss. By the way, Lady Piss, the musical guest on Lindsay Lohan's Saturday Night Live. Might as well be. I mean, seriously, with the ones they've been booking, they booked that fucking Lana Del Rey, and then they booked last week they booked Carmen or Carmine, or I don't know what the fuck it was. It's just two white YouTube rappers. I just laughed that Lorne Michaels is trolling YouTube for musical acts, for fuck's sake. I mean, dude, honestly, there's clubs, there's people out there that you can book. Everybody makes the same. That's like, they don't pay Pearl Jam more than they pay fucking Lana Del Rey. I mean, everybody gets scale to be on Saturday Night Live because I guess they figure they're doing you a favor, and it's a big thing, and it is a big thing. You get exposure and you sell albums and stuff. But so why are they settling for these fucking YouTube nonsense people? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know. And that's just me. And again, look, I'm old. All right, let's clarify that. I'm an old man. Perhaps you youngsters out there are like, Lana Del Rey, oh my God, fantastic. And you're so excited. And then you tuned in and you watched her on Saturday Night Live and you went, who propped up the corpse and hit the tape recorder? Holy shit, was that girl awful. Awful, folks, awful. And look, believe me, she's more successful now at 20 or whatever the fuck she is in a minute than I've been in 22 years of doing this business. All right. I recognize that. Her shot on Saturday Night Live, because yes, it was awful. It was atrocious. It was terrible and bad, but it doesn't matter because out there she was in the ether, and now she's on YouTube and people are buying her albums, and it was a huge hit. And then look, this is another thing too, by the way. Everybody stop getting mad at people and saying how much they suck. All right. Do you know why? Because you're completely cutting off your own balls in the process. Because if someone goes on TV and they suck, all right, you then jump all over them for like 2 days. And you're like, oh my God, they suck. Ha ha, hilarious. And you make them a meme and you make fun of them and everything goes crazy. And then a week later, the backlash to the backlash starts, and then they sell 1 million albums, and then they're famous because everybody feels bad for them. So stop. If you want to hate somebody, If you want to hate somebody, ignore them. Don't even put anything online about how you hated them. Don't say you tolerated them or you watched it. Don't even fucking mention it anymore. If you see somebody that's horrible, just avert your eyes and move forward like a shark, man. Just don't even fucking look at them anymore. Don't comment on them. Don't talk about them, because inevitably when you pile on them with your, oh my God, this girl sucked, 2 days later, the wave of, oh, leave her alone is going to start, and then she's going to sell 1 million albums and she's going to laugh in your fucking face. Not that she's even paying attention to you guys, quite frankly. I mean, although maybe Lana Del Rey is, because she's a YouTube creature. Maybe it matters to her what, Beelzebub 11 means, has to say about her on the internet. And by the way, if you are Beelzebub 11, I apologize for invoking you or bringing you into this conversation. It just seems like saying Beelzebub 11. By the way, Beelzebub 11, that was the initial plot of The Exorcist. Because there was going to be 11 priests who got together to go and make the devil come out of Reagan. But they realized, you know what, this concept is way ahead of its time. Let's just back off and just get Father Karras and Max von Sydow, and then we'll take care of it. And then we'll have the face of Zazulu or Kazulu, Zabulu. What the fuck's that? Mizuzu. That's it, Mizuzu. Jesus Christ, that's a scary face. That's my favorite scary face of all time. Look, I have a list, folks. I have a list of scary faces that I enjoy, and top of it, Mizuzu. I know you were at home thinking, you know what, I wonder if Mike enjoys scary faces. Well, yes, I do. Well, yes, but that's not enough for you folks. You're thinking to yourselves, well, certainly we think Mike enjoys scary faces, but does he have a list of his favorite scary faces? Yes, I do. Number 1, Mizuzu. There you go. And I don't know how to spell it, so otherwise you'd look it up. But it's the scary face that's in secret in The Exorcist. It's literally, it's subliminal. It's in there for just like a second, and then it disappears. So yes, Beelzebub 11 was the name of the original Exorcist. Why are you making a face? Have you ever seen Mizuzu?
No, I'm wondering what number 2 is.
On the scary face list? I can't give it away right here at the beginning of the show.
It's true.
Actually, and also there's no reason to do that because I just gave away number 1. If I was doing this, if I had any modicum of show business in me, I would have started with number 10. And by the end of the show, we would have ended with Mizuzu. People would have been guessing. By the time I had gotten to number 4, people would have been like, where the fuck is Mizuzu? If he doesn't say Mizuzu, I am going to be fucking furious. And then I would have gotten to 3, and they would have been like, no, Mizuzu still? Holy fuck. And then I would have gone with number 2, and they would have been, if number 1 is not Mizuzu, I am going to yank out my tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds and throw them out the fucking window. I will fist my iPod vagina until it's just a gaping hole in my dashboard. That's what I will do. I will just punch it furiously until plastic chips away. Because and then you know what? Well, Mizuzu's head will pop out and stare at me. That's what will fucking happen. That's how scary it was. But no, see, now I gave away number 1. So there's no point in giving the other 9. You know what, folks? Go to my blog. I'll put the list up afterwards. My scariest faces I love blog.com. It's a Tumblr I have. Mike's favorite scariest faces at tumblr.net. Tumblr's only .com, right? Or is Tumblr even? Tumblr might be .tumblr. I get no fucking idea. It was funny when Idaho Kirk was building my website. That's when all of a sudden I discovered Tumblr. Oh, and I'll get to this in just a second. But and I was like, and I said to him, I go, dude, I want 2 blogs and I want them to be like a Tumblr. He goes, what do you mean? And I go, like that style. I think it's cool. I like Tumblr. So I mean, I found a couple of comics who were on Tumblr and I liked their style. So I was like, I would like to kind of bite that for my 2 blogs. And he's like, well, then just get a Tumblr. Like, why don't you just get a Tumblr and we'll link it up? And I'm like, no, my website has to be fully encased so I can be excited about it for a week and then forget it. And he's like, I can do that. I said, good, glad to hear it. So we avoided the Tumblr thing. But here's a funny thing. I was on Tumblr the other day, and you'll go to Tumblr, and then there's and they're very specific. You know what I mean? It'll be cuntlip.tumblr.net. You know what I mean? And you're like, okay. And I made up. There's no net. It's .com. But as you're there in the sidebar, it'll say you might enjoy this Tumblr as well. You know what I mean? And then it's which, by the way, if you go to my Mike's Scariest Faces Tumblr.com, on the side you will find Lily's favorite scariest asses. And it's just a bunch of burlesque chicks from behind that were surreptitiously photographed that don't know. And it's also, you actually should go to Lily's favorite scariest asses.tumblr /hail damage. That's what it is.
Oh, you're
So
terrible.
go check it out and see some burlesque people who they're posing for a before photo. All right. So then I was at Tumblr and it's like, you might like this. And I was at some website and it linked me to a Tumblr that had it had some video of Batman yelling at people in the street. Of course, and I'm like, all right, I'm in. I got to check that out because why would I work, folks? Why would I ever do any work in my life? Instead, I will go ahead and look at this and look at that, and then inevitably everything ends. But so it had like a link to that, and then it had a link to a different Tumblr, and then I clicked on that, and every Tumblr has like a cute little name of their Tumblr, and hey, guess where I wound up, folks? Guess. I wound up at successisnotanoption.tumblr.com. And I wound up on the page and I went, oh, no, I hope this guy ripped me off. That would be so cool if like he ripped me off, because I don't want to think that you know what I mean? It's like, Success is Not an Option show, folks. I do my one-man show and I'm calling it the Success is Not an Option tour. Initially, the show was called Success is Not an Option, but then we realized that none of the narrative matched that title. So rather than adapt it and make my show work with the title, I said, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want. And we'll call it the Success is Not an Option tour. How does that grab you? And then everybody who wants to try to help me shook their heads in disgust. Dave in New York, the producer, Mex, you, everybody's just like, of course. So you're going, wait, let's get this right, Mike. You're going to avoid doing the hard work again and just make a small change that lets you do what you want to do? What a surprise. Oh my God, how shocking is that? I can't believe that you're going to go ahead and take the easy way out yet again. That doesn't make it. Really, I thought you had kind of tabled that after 44 years of doing it, but I suppose you can give it a little more time. You can go ahead and let it breathe. You know what, Mike? Decant your failure and pour it out and let it breathe. You dumb fuck. So I was on successisnotanoption.tumblr.whatever, and I start scrolling down, and it has that thing where it goes earlier posts, and I'm going, please end before August of 2010, or even, June of 2010 is when we came up with it. And I'm going back, and by the time I got to January of 2010 and his many entries, I went, oh, okay, I'm not as original as I hoped. But it's not my fault. I mean, it's just because I don't care. I didn't rip anybody off, folks. It just happened to be out there. Come on, there's no new ideas. I love when people do that. There's no new ideas out there to justify their 100 stolen ideas. Come on, there's nothing new under the sun. That's why I'm a hack, and that's why I do this horrible nonsense. That's why everything I do is very vaguely familiar, because there's nothing new out there. Grumble, grumble. By the way, dogs and cats. All right, so. Oh, and let me tell you this, folks. By the way, a lot of you with your correspondence and a lot of you have written me over the past week or so. Some of you have sent me emails. Some of you have sent me Facebook notes. Some of you have reached out to me via the phone. That seems weird. I don't know how you got my phone number, but thank you for calling me. Speaking of phones, this is what I'm about to get to. Brace yourselves. No, folks, I will not give you the phone number of the guy who called Lily last week and said, stay open late, bitch. No matter how many times you ask, no matter how nicely you ask for it, I'm not giving you that phone number. And the people who've asked that I've written back, you already know the answer. Lily didn't even give me the phone number because she knows that I would have given it out.
Yep.
So let me tell you, this is not my decision. If it was my decision, I would have put it on 4chan and said, hey, fucking, I would have said, Trips decides who we fuck with. By the way, here's the phone number. I wouldn't even need to wait for Trips. Done. I would have just put check 'em and then just had the fucking number there, and then that guy's getting finished off. I would let Anonymous do its business. But I was not. That was not shared with me. I was not privy to that information last week. Lily's like, no, we don't have to do that. And I said, okay. Did he ever call you back after your polite call back? I have no idea. I don't know how that works. What if he had? What if he had called you back and you were friends now? Like you were like,
We're dating.
Yeah. We've decided to go out. He seemed like a nice man over the phone, and then he and I got together and we bought matching T-shirts. It was great. I walked in today and Lily is wearing a matching T-shirt with Eddie, her boyfriend. And not just like, I mean, they're wearing the same shirt on the same day. Like, and I said, yeah. And at first, because I just saw Lily when I walked in, and then I came in and sat down, and then Eddie popped out of the back room, and he's like, yeah, I got to grab a power strip or whatever. And I noticed he was wearing the shirt. And then he left, and then Lily came in, and I looked, because it's a different shirt. It's a unique shirt. And I said to her, hey, You're wearing the same shirt that Eddie's wearing. And she's like, oh my God, this story's hilarious. And then she proceeded to tell me a story that could not have been less hilarious. I mean, it was one of those things where, people who are a couple think that this is going to be amazingly awesome. And everybody who's not a couple around them is just like, oh, Christ. So it turned out to be that story. Oh, sure. It was funny to you. It was funny to you. But not funny to any other human being alive, including Eddie. Even Eddie just kind of went. Because they're your friends. Because you travel with that circus of people who have that. It's not even a joke. Who are outwardly thinking everything in the world is just divine. Like they use that word and they mean it. You know what I mean? Like that's who you hang out with is those people. This is divine. Oh God. Jump out of a fucking window and don't get into a somersault and land into a clown car, even though I know you will. Because again, Lily hangs out with those people, the blockheads and sword swallowers and fucking everybody else. Sword swallowers, not followers. Fuck. Wow, do that some more. Hold on, Lily. She's yeah, there you go. Oh, put that marker all the way down to the elbow. Nicely done. And also people started writing me notes about is that true about champagne? I don't know. I told them, I go, right, Lily bunched up. She knows. She's going to tell you. That's fine.
Just try it sometime.
Yeah, do that, folks. So Lily's wearing her T-shirt today, and then we sat here and we're ready to record, and she's talking to me before the show starts, and she's telling me a tale from her childhood, and she's telling me that she showed up one day at school wearing like slippers and boxer shorts and a tank top with her hair in a ponytail. And they sent her home. And I was like, why did you wear that? And she's like, I just, you know what? That's what I wanted to wear that day. I decided I was wearing these, and the boxer shorts were sewn shut, so it wasn't something disgusting. She goes, they couldn't yell about it being indecent, and she caused a big stink at her school. Like she showed up in a tank top and boxer shorts and slippers. And she's like, yeah, I just wanted to be as unsexy as possible that day. I just didn't care. And folks, I got to be honest with you, half the shows I do when I'm here, Lily's wearing boxer shorts, a tank top, slippers, and has her hair in a fucking ponytail. Like, what? Am I as bad as your high school administration that I have to get the same goddamn treatment? Is that the problem? Is that what's happening?
Am I supposed to dress all sexy?
Yes, you are. Yeah, of course you are. Well, I got news for you. And this is, I don't know what your school was thinking. Well, actually, I know exactly what your school was thinking because you might have thought that you were on this anti-sexy crusade. 44 double Ds in a tank top and boxer shorts and slippers and a ponytail. Guess what? Go check out my Tumblr at tank top, ponytail, boxer shorts, slippers, 42doubled.com Tumblr. Because I got news for you. It's getting hit after hit after hit. And it has been up since February 22nd of 2009. So I'm not going to name my one-man show that. Although I should. Maybe I should. Tank top, boxer short, slipper, 42 double D, ponytail, tumblr.com. Perfect. All right. So I was so disappointed. She's like, yeah, I was so unsexy. And I'm like, well, first of all, A, that's not unsexy. And B, so then you think you're being unsexy for me? What the, shouldn't you? You should be like the Playboy secretary that they used to draw in the 60s. You know what I mean? Because that's who you are. Like I show up and I'm the boss and I can come here in like, wingtips and a suit. And then you walk out with your ass out like a shelf and you're like, hey, can I get you like a drink or something? That's perfect. You waddle out of the steno pool? Oh, man. This is what you need to do. Our show will be like Mad Men. It'll be like I'll be like Don Draper, and you'll just be like, all the hot secretaries are like, "Oh, hi, can I get you something?" No, Miss Hotchkiss, we're fine. That's a good name, Miss Hotchkiss. That's what I'll call you. That's a good, that's a good burlesque name. There you go, Lila Hotchkiss. Perfect. Get wear like a white man's dress shirt. Not a white man's dress shirt. Hold on. A man's white dress shirt. You don't want a white man's dress shirt. Because in the pocket is full of mayonnaise. You don't want any of that. You have tickets to the Hamptons in the other pocket. No, thank you. Tickets. Are the Hamptons a ride, by the way? Why the fuck do I have tickets to the Hamptons? No, you have a plane ticket to the Hamptons. There you go. Let's do that. First class, of course, because that's what a white man keeps in his dress shirt. He keeps mayonnaise and first class tickets to the Hamptons, of course. No, you wear a pencil skirt and a dress shirt, like a white dress shirt, and then you come out on stage with your hair in a ponytail, and then you just play that fucking Angeli, bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan, and never let you forget you're a man, and then you fucking pull your hair down. That's awesome. And then someone comes out and spanks you, a la fucking Secretary of the Movie. Oh, dude, I love this idea. Hold on. See?
Hello.
Look at this burlesque thing I just wrote. That's fucking awesome. Lila Hotchkiss with the Angele. I've got the fucking suit for you and everything. God damn it. I'm a burlesque genius.
Yeah, okay.
I just figured it all out. What are you talking about? Don't make a face. Lila Hotchkiss wearing, like I said, a pencil skirt and the fucking like crazy stacked heels and hose. Oh my God, dude! I was in the airport. Well, I'll tell you that. I'll get to that later. But yeah. You just wear fucking hose and like a garter belt and the fucking pencil skirt, and then a guy comes out and spanks you like secretary. Ooh yeah, God damn it, that's perfect, dudes. I'm a burlesque creator. But like he spanks you in a nice way. He's not fucking Chris Brown or anything. He's just gonna fucking come out and be nice. When I just gonna beat the shit beat out of you. You shrug, really? You're like, well, why not? Well, I'll take a pounding. That's a good plan. Well, hold on, don't ruin my Hotchkiss burlesque. Don't add in the element of a guy beating you up. I want you to get spanked, not thrashed. God damn it! My friend, did I tell you about my friend, my buddy, my friend Kevin Sesha, who is at Kevin Sesha on Twitter.com. I've talked about Kevin on here. Kevin is he's the guy like girls like and guys want to be, like that kind of thing. I've worked with him. He was just infinitely cool. Like he was that guy where everybody just loved him, and I sat there fat. Oh my God, awful. And that's not the case, but it's just you in your own head. You just go, oh, Jesus. And then I'd stop it all if he's funny and a great writer. You're like, oh, dude, I'm supposed to be the ugly guy who can do that stuff. You're good looking and you have a good personality. Just be that guy. You don't have to fucking horn in on my nonsense. Jesus Christ. Let me be fat and be a good writer. You go ahead and be your guy. You be a good looking guy who's breezing through life, who's just like an Asian Steve McQueen. That's who you are, Kevin Sesha. Why should one man have so many gifts? But he twittered the other day that he has put $1,000 bounty on the head of Chris Brown, and with a link back to his blog. And I was like, oh, dude, fucking awesome. So I click on the blog, and sure enough, it's a blog where he's offering $1,000 to anyone who can land a punch and film it and get him the film of them knocking out Chris Brown. And then he details it. He's like, Chris Brown looks like a little tiny dude. So, if you probably, he looks like one good shot would crumble him. So, I'm just telling you now that if you drop him with one shot, that's worth it. He goes, I'm telling you, you got to land at least 2 punches, but if you drop him with one shot and the second punch misses, that's fine. I will still award you the $1,000. And then he has like a block of text from a lawyer. Like he went to a lawyer to inure himself from any sort of lawsuit if anything happens. And he's just like, yeah, because it's satire, I guess, wink. And then he wrote this whole thing. And so I retweeted it, and he's like, hey, thanks for retweeting that. I go, dude, I will fucking retweet this every single day. I don't care. I think it's hysterical. And then my buddy Pat is like, dude, you got to use Chris Brown's actual Twitter handle in here. And I said, done, did it. I don't give a fuck. What's he going to do? Yell at me? But here's the thing that made me laugh is, Kevin Sesha and I used to work together on a show called Starface, and he was out. He is, again, he's out at the club because he's that guy. Clubs want him there. They actually pay him to show up. Kevin Sesha is the Dos Equis guy. That's who he is. He's like a young male version of the Dos Equis guy. He's so interesting. So Kevin came to work one day, and he tells us he was at the club the previous night, and he's on the dance floor with his friend, and dancing like right next to him is Paris Hilton. She's on the dance floor, and this is 2005, I think. So this is when that Simple Life show was on, and she was like a name. She was like, we know her now, and we'll always know her. But this is when she was famous. This is when she was on TV all the time, and she was constantly, being interviewed, and people were talking about her, and she was a big deal. She was the Kim Kardashian of her time. All right. And then that time was past, and then the Kardashians showed up because Paris was Paris, and then she kind of teamed up with Nicole Richie. And they did their thing, but then the Kardashians came in as just like this. They're like a transformer. The Kardashians, holy shit! They just like they are not even transform. No, they're like they're Voltron. That's who they are. The Kardashians are like Voltron because they just fucking Kardashians assemble, and then they all just fucking just form the one giant that monster that I saw in the car. What's her name? Bigfoot. I don't even remember her name. Because there's Courtney, and then there's Kim, and then they like I said, they all form into Chloe at some point. That's what it is, Chloe. That's weird how her name just I didn't know her name, but it flowed out of me as I was talking right there. I was taken over by the spirit of Chloe. That's what I was. And she's blurrily photographed as she walks into the woods. But that's what the Kardashians are. They're like Voltron, and they form together, and they get turned into one giant Chloe. All right, so So that's what, because Paris had no chance against that. Paris is just, she's Goldar. That's who she is. She's just Johnny Sacco. I must quantify all of our reality chick stars in the form of Japanese children's shows. That's it. Whereas Paris Hilton was Goldar from Battle of the Planets or Johnny Sacco, the Kardashians are Voltron, and they assemble into one giant being. And, of course, they thrash Goldar, even though Goldar sort of... Oh, you know what? Fucking Paris Hilton was Spectre Man. I take it all back. Paris Hilton is Spectre Man. And then, of course, the Kardashians are Voltron. All right, so... God damn it. But at the time, Paris was huge. She was monstrous. And he's telling us this story, and he's going on, and she was right next to him, and they're dancing. And I said to him, I go, dude, you should have punched her right in the face. You know what? I could be telling that wrong. He might have said she was close enough for me to punch. I think that's what he said, because that's how a very interesting man talks. When you talk about people, let's put it this way. Does it surprise you that the man who's put $1,000 bounty on the head of Chris Brown said that he was close enough to Paris Hilton to punch her? Like, literally, that was how his life has changed in 7 years. But it's funny because I told him, because I don't remember if he said I was close enough to punch her or if I said, dude, you should have punched her right in the face. Because he was just like, you can't do that. And I go, no, you could, dude. I go, you would be famous forever. Because like some people, there would be the faction. Remember, folks, earlier in the show when I talked about how everybody hates you and then 2 days later there's the backlash to the backlash and then you're a genius? You got it. Because, I mean, look at even fucking Chris Brown. All right, Chris Brown is a fucking scumbag. A scumbag. Go read the police report of what he did to fucking Rihanna. He punched her like 50 times. Like, he just fucking drilled her, and he kept punching her, and she's spitting blood all over the car. And then she tries to like make a phone call, and he throws her phone out the window. And then she snatched the key and sat on it. And then he put her in a headlock, and then he bit her. He guy fought her and he lady fought her. That's the fucking weirdest thing. Like, he's punching her, and then he pulled her hair and he bit her. Like, he's half man, half chick in his fighting techniques. So again, folks, when you think of that, realize that it's so easy for you to fucking knock him out and win $1,000. Go find him, punch him, film it, and send it to Kevin Session, the most interesting man in the world, and he will pay you $1,000. So yeah, I remember, but in fucking 2005, he and I told him that. I go, dude, you should have punched her. You'd be famous forever because, sure, for a couple days, everybody would be like, you scumbag, you punched a woman. But then after 3 days, there'd be this backlash of like, she's just a fathead. Of course you punched her. That's fantastic. And to this day, Kevin would still be on television answering questions about it. He'd be a fucking hero to some. And then, of course, because again, look on Facebook. All those people are like, hey, Chris Brown could beat me anytime. And all those people posted that, and it turned into a thing. Like, they posted it on Twitter, and they posted it on Facebook. And I just saw, this is fucking true. Some guy I'm friends with on Facebook put a thing about Chris Brown up on his Facebook. And then people, it's so strange. Chris Brown has people who will defend him that you don't even know them. Like, they just come out of this shadowy woodwork. And it's like white people that want to say nigger so bad. Whenever they hear, like, you know what I mean? When you hear white people, like some other people saying, they're saying nigger a million times, and white guys are like, hey, black guys say it, why can't I say it? Well, that's who I think these people defending Chris Brown are. Because they want Chris Brown to get away with beating up this fucking woman so they can just knock the shit out of some chick. Every single person who defends Chris Brown has a woman in mind that they want to punch. That's it. They don't give a fuck about him or Rihanna or this situation. They're not speaking to a larger point. Anybody who steps out and defends Chris Brown and says, leave the boy alone, he's paid his price, those people have a woman in mind that they want to punch. And they're just waiting for your support. They're waiting for it to become legal. That's it. They just want Chris Brown to get away with it so then they can do it and just go, what? Who cares, man? Chris Brown did it. That's all they care about. So whenever you see anybody at all on Twitter or on Facebook defending Chris Brown, just realize somewhere at some point in their psyche, they've got a woman in mind in their life that they cannot wait to fucking punch.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and coming up, 12 white guys talking. 6 white guys talking was such a hit, it's time to double your pleasure. How big is that studio? 12 white guys talking on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
By the way, I recognize that Rihanna is now back with Chris Brown. So all that stuff I just said is probably invalidated by the fact that the two of them are doing a duet together and working together. And look, I understand that you can go into certain studios separately. It's not like they're standing next to one another like Donnie and Marie and singing into the same microphone and then going out and sipping a milkshake with 2 straws. All right, I get that. You can do your work remotely. That's fine. But it's so funny to me that people are all pissed off at her now because she's back with Chris Brown. And how could you do that, Riri? I keep hearing that too, because these people all know her and call her Riri. And she's a grown woman who's a fucking multimillionaire, and she knows what she's doing. And if she wants to get back together with Chris Brown, that's fine. But you know what? Here's what I prefer to think, folks. I give Rihanna some credit. All right, I give her just a tiny bit of credit, and I like to think that this is like an "I spit on your grave" scenario. That's what I think. Okay, I think she got the shit beat out of her, and it turned into a big thing, and she got whatever boost was going to get out of that, and she went ahead and recovered, and it's been long enough now to where she's lulled stupid fucking Chris Brown into thinking that she's forgiven him in some way, because he doesn't exactly seem bright, right? He doesn't seem like the type of guy who'd be a bright guy who could figure shit out on his own. So again, he's walking around entitled, and he doesn't think that he's done anything wrong anyway. So when Rihanna contacts him out of the blue and is like, "Hey, let's make a record together," he's probably just thinking, "Oh shit, yeah, she came around finally." And folks, how did you like that little walk on the tightrope of racism right there? Just about. As I almost lapsed into doing like a crazy stereotypical rap voice, but instead I started to go into it, and the plane went into a nosedive, and I'm like, "Oh!" And then I said, "Oh, pull up!" Shit. Good, got out of it. Back into normal white dude voice. Jesus Christ, nothing worse. I'm the Carl Wallenda of racism. I'm just the shifting breezes try to blow me off the pole into the maw of public opinion, but I've staved it off. So again, he's a fucking dumb fuck, right? Chris Brown is stupid, so he doesn't think he did anything wrong. So he gets the phone call. He's like, "Yeah, she came around. Riri wants me back," and she's like, "That's right, I want you back." And so they do a song about a birthday cake, and he's like, "This is so great." Now they're talking to each other on Twitter, and everybody's like, "What the fuck, Rihanna?" And I'm sure she's just like, "Look, I got this. It's okay, I got this." And she's gonna like string them along. They're gonna be also like friends, and eventually they're gonna announce that they're doing a whole album together. Everybody's like, "What the fuck, Rihanna? Why are you doing this?" She's like, "I got this. Trust me, I got this." And then everybody's like, "God damn it." And Chris Brown's like, "Yeah, I told all y'all." Again, look at me. I'm back on the tightrope. You know what? I should have just gone back in. The breeze was strong. I saw it. It almost blew me right off. And yet I continued to cross. I could have gone back. Fuck. So sure enough, he's just like, "Yeah, this is great. Haha, all you haters. Take that, haters. Rihanna knows." And then she's like, "Yeah, this is great." And then they're going to go out on a tour together. It was like, "Oh, this is going to be fucking awesome." And then they're going to build that stupid Q*bert thing from the Grammys, right? That he was jumping around on the other night. You saw it. And wasn't he on like bungee poles or whatever the fuck he's hopping around? I don't know. I honestly did not see a lot of it. All right. I still have the Grammys on TiVo because I've been very concerned with other things in my life at this point. How stupid is that? I hate people who do that kind of shit. I don't watch TV. I'm much more important. Dude, I just couldn't watch the Grammys. All right. I still have them. I want to see them. I saw a bunch of shit online. But I'm not too important to watch the fucking Grammys. I hate that I made myself sound that way. But they're going to go out on tour like Rihanna and Chris Brown, and everybody's going to be like, "What the fuck? Why are you going to, it's bad enough you did an album. Now you're going to put more money in this motherfucker's pocket by doing a tour with him? Are you guys even dating? Are you together?" And she's going to go, "I got this. Listen, I got this." And they're going to go out on tour, and the opening date, and usually tours start in like Louisville. Van Halen just started their tour in Louisville, somewhere off the beaten path, so you get better at it. You know what I mean? You start, and you get the kinks out in like these smaller cities. No offense, Louisville, by the way. Well, awful that I just shit all over your whole town. You guys are the practice city. I don't know if you know that about yourselves. Louisville, you're like the ugly girl who the guy fucks to try and get good at being good at sex. How literal was that? You're the ugly girl he fucks to get good at being good at sex. Awful. I'm terrible. All right, so you're the first girl in a port for a sailor. That's who you are, Louisville. No offense. You just recognize who you are, for Christ's sake. You're the drunken man's choice. All right, so that should be on your license plates, Louisville. That should be Kentucky, the drunken man's choice. All right, so. So normally you start a tour in a city like that, like an off city, like a Louisville, and you go, "Hey man, let's go down there and we'll work it." By the time we hit the big cities, we'll be cranking it up. So Rihanna is going to go ahead and start this tour like in New York at Madison Square Garden. And he's like, "Holy shit, why are you starting in New York? Shouldn't you build up and get good?" And she's like, "You know what? I got this. Trust me, I got this." And so her and Chris Brown are going to go out there, and Chris Brown's going to go out first, and he's going to do his dancing and yelling, and he's going to jump around. Everybody's going to be, half the room is booing because they hate him, but the other half of those shadowy people who defended him all along, and they're so happy. They're finally there to see. They're actually going to the show hoping that somehow Chris Brown punches Rihanna again. That's the only reason they come to the show. Those people who defended him are just like, look, she fucking learned her place. Like, she's brought him out on tour. Maybe he goes ahead and takes a poke at her. And then they walk around and they just stare at women hoping that they can punch somebody. That's all they want to fucking do, defenders of Chris Brown. So then sure enough, and Chris Brown opens and he does his thing. And then they close and then Rihanna comes out and she does her thing. And everybody's kind of indifferent, but Rihanna's killing it, man. It's like the best performance of her life. And she's in New York and the fucking press is there and they're all excited for this huge event. And then they're going to do a duet on this stupid birthday cake song or some bullshit that they put out for the new album, and they come out together at the thing, and they got the Q*bert stage, and Rihanna's on one side, and they're going to hop, and they're going to finally meet in the middle, and then the hug, and it'll be a great moment, and then as they're hopping, and then Rihanna pulls out like a fucking hunting knife and just guts him like a fucking fish in front of everybody. And he makes a face like, what, a hater? And he makes that face. He actually says that, hater? And then she reaches in and pulls out his cock and just chops it off and throws it into the fucking crowd. And then she sings Pond to Replay and Umbrellas and everybody goes fucking crazy. So I prefer to think that Rihanna's got this. She's got this. This is all the fucking plan, folks. She's not involved with Chris Brown again. She doesn't love him. She's not going back to him. This is a fucking I spit on your grave scenario and she's going to cut his dick off in front of everybody on the stage at Madison Square Garden. I could be extrapolating a lot at the end there. There could be, maybe not Madison Square, maybe she does it in Louisville. Maybe, you know what, Louisville? You are the drunken man's choice. Maybe you are the avenged woman's choice as well. Maybe you are the scorned woman's choice. She's going to bring Chris Brown there and just castrate him on stage for all of you. Because believe me, this wouldn't be the first time that something like that happened in Louisville, I'm assuming. I mean, you are the South, right? I mean, I got to assume that it isn't the first time that a black guy's going to get castrated on a stage in down South. Although I'm getting that it probably wasn't the same soundtrack. I don't think it was Rihanna singing Pond to Replay the last time a black guy got castrated on stage in Louisville. But still, see, so there you go, guys. You're ahead of the game. I see all the things I said earlier. Now you're back to being number one. This is going to offend my 4 listeners in Louisville. Oh, and I don't know if, because folks, that's how good the numbers are now. I can go ahead and find out exactly every city who's listening to me where. Yeah, straighten up there, Grand Rapids. All right, so. That one guy, I wonder if he's on the list for the Bring Mike to Detroit page. Get on it, Grand Rapids. Right now, go to your Facebook and sign in. Like you're not already signed in, Grand Rapids. You sit there, that's what you do. You listen to my show and you go on Facebook and you stare at my picture. I think that's what everybody does. Everybody tunes in. They put on their tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds and they put on a tour shirt of some sort or a skull pie shirt, whatever they happen to have handy. And it's so funny. There's people who bought multiple shirts and stuff. Like our friend Todd, he's bought a shirt in every city. And I don't. You're a grown man. What are you doing? I mean, it's cool. That's awesome. I'm thrilled. But then part of me is almost like. And then he put up a picture of himself talking to Bob Mould from Sugar. And shut up. Don't get pissed off at me. Yes, he's from Husker Du. I get that. All right. It's so fun. Bob Mould's one of those guys who's like, because Husker Du is a seminal band of the 80s and stuff like that. And so people are mad that I know him from Sugar. I don't really know him from Sugar. I know him from everything. That's the thing. But it's funny to say that because then people who know him from Husker Du are like, Sugar came after Husker Du. And you're furious right now. You're so angry. And right now, look in your rearview mirror, Mizuzu. Spooked you. Great. He was right there. He popped into your car because I talked about Bob Mould and Sugar and you got mad. And because you got mad, you looked up in the rearview mirror, Mizuzu. Although I guess you don't say Sugar. I mean, he's also, it's like if I had said, it's Bob Mould from WCW because he became a writer for pro wrestling later. So like that, then people would be really fucking mad. They're like, that's how you know Bob Mould? He's from fucking Husker Du. He was also in Mizuzu. I don't know if you know that. That was his, after Husker Du and before Sugar, he was in a band called Mizuzu. Scary band. Oh my God. Scariest drum in rock. All right. So why the fuck did I start talking about Bob Mould?
Because he was wearing a shirt in a picture.
Oh, our friend Todd, who has a shirt for every city. And thank you. I don't mean to question that. Now all of a sudden Todd's going to write me mean and be like mad. Don't. I'm just joking. This is a comedy show. Todd, of course he knows, right? What if he didn't know? What if he had no idea? What if he didn't listen to any of the shows ever and all he did was buy shirts? You know what? He knows me from shirts. That's awesome. Like I know Bob Mould from WCW and Sugar. He knows me from shirts. He has no fucking idea I do a podcast. He just saw the shirts on Facebook. Like, those are awesome. I need one from every city, please. Terrific. Do you like the show? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Give me the shirts. That's fucking great. I found that out of nowhere. He knows me from shirts. I'm fucking awesome. Go to iTunes and write a review talking about, I can't believe Mike thinks he's awesome all the time. Yes, I do. You know how awesome I am? I'm flexing while I do. I'm not even a joke. I flexed while I did that. Yeah. Hold on. That's me kissing my bicep. All right, so you deserve it, and I deserve it. God damn it. That guy knows me from shirts. All right. So anyway, our friend Todd has bought all these shirts, and now he's mad. He only knows me from shirts. But he put up a picture of himself with Bob Mould from Sugar, and in the picture, Todd is wearing his San Francisco tour shirt. The Schmitty shirt. It's it's amazing. And the only thing is it's a black and white photo, so you don't get the full majesty of the gold with the blue. Oh, it's fucking gorgeous. If you didn't get a San Francisco shirt, kill yourself. That seems strong. That seems very strong. Regret it. Now, how about that? There you go. If you did not get a San Francisco shirt, go look at it. It's on Facebook somewhere and stare at it. And then my friend Jesse Thorne, who is from the Bay Area and the host of course, Bullseye and the Jordan Jesse Go, good guy. And we were talking via email this week, and I said to him, and I go, hey, do you still wear T-shirts? Because here's the thing, he also has a show called Put This On, because Jesse Thorne is reinventing fashion for the man of the 2010s. He wears ties and vests and shirts, and he dresses like a man. I don't. I'm sitting here wearing a fucking flannel shirt and jeans. You know what I mean? But he's very sartorial, and he's like, he'll tell you what cufflink to wear, and he goes French cuff, and he can tell you about a tie. He could probably tie his own bow tie. He would never be caught dead in a black and white photo with Bob Mould wearing a T-shirt with my name on it, ever. So he and I were going back and forth via email, and then I said to him, hey, I know you're Captain Sartorial, but do you still wear T-shirts? And if so, what size? And he wrote me back. He's like, I appreciate the offer, but I haven't bought a T-shirt in at least 2 years. My T-shirt never gets opened anymore. It's just not a thing I do. And I wrote him, and I said, I have a shirt that the design. I think if anyone's going to appreciate it, you would, because he's from the Bay Area and he's a huge sports guy. And the Bay Area shirts, the San Francisco tour shirts, were based on the Golden State Warriors throwback jerseys. So he's like, well, let me see. So I sent him the design, and then I actually contacted my T-shirt company, and I said, hey, I might need one San Francisco shirt. I don't know the size yet. As soon as I know, I'll let you know. Is it possible to just do one more for that run? Because they had already shipped them, and I'd already been to San Francisco, and they said, yeah, no, of course we can, immediately. I said, great. That's all I need to know. And so I just waited for Jesse to write me back and tell me what size he wears, because he was going to no doubt love the design. And this was Sunday. Still waiting. He didn't even write me back to say, yeah, I like that, or that's cool, or fuck you, or nothing. I haven't heard back from him since Sunday. I'm sure, because he actually wrote me back because I attached the image, and he goes, hey, this image doesn't work. I can't open it because it doesn't have an extension. So I was like, fuck. So I had to turn it into a JPEG. Because I'm a computer wizard. So I went on and I had to fix it, and then I attached it, and then I sent it. I go, second try. Oh, awesome. Get back to me. And nothing. Literally. So I don't know if my lack of computer skills did not allow him to open it and take a look at it, or if he just went, meh, who fucking cares? You know what I mean? I have no idea, but I was waiting. I was so excited to show him, because he loves the Warriors, and he loves the Giants, and he loves the Niners, and he loves, what if I just ran down I did. You know what? I'm done. They don't have a hockey team. I'm done naming teams from the city of San Francisco. But he never even wrote me back to say cool or fuck you. I was so disappointed, because I was like, because literally even when I made them, and I went, I should make one for Jesse. And then I went, nah, he's not going to wear it because he's fucking fancy. So how did I spin into that? I was talking, I know, but I started talking about Todd for some reason. I talked about it.
Todd has all your shirts.
Right. But there was a reason.
You took a picture in your shirt.
But how did we get there? Because I talked about people who listen to the show and stare at me on Facebook. Is that what it was? I don't fucking know. All right, folks. I can't wait. I'm sure I left some thread hanging, but that's fine. But that's okay, because you know what it gets us to? San Francisco. There we go. That's the only place we needed to go. Folks, I did a show. I've been doing a show. I don't know if you're aware of this. I've been doing a show called Success is Not an Option. Hold on. That's not the name of the show. That's the name of the tour. Used to be the name of the show until I realized, the narrative doesn't match. And then I went, well, why don't you write a narrative that'll match that title? Nope. But you know what? I'll tell you about that another time. There's no reason to go into it now. Yes, I remember I told you earlier in the show. Yes, that's the joke. Ha ha ha. Flex. All right, so. So I had a show last week in San Francisco, California. Returning, it was a triumphant return to San Francisco, California, heading back to the Dark Room Theater in the Mission District. Except I was in a different hotel, and I did not have my Lily with me. I did not have my Lily blanket, because last time we were at the Chancellor together, shared a room, shared a rubber duck. It was fun and exciting. And then Lily, actually, she went out to dinner with our friend Lou, who's a listener. She when we were there last time, and I was so nervous, I did not want to leave the room for anything. Like dude, I can't, because this is that was the first weekend I ever did the one man show. So this is in 2010, August of 2010, I think it was, yeah. And I was out of my mind nervous. Like I was paralyzed in the room, and Lou was very nice. He's like, hey, let's go to Burger Bar, whatever the fuck. I don't know where it was. And I said, I have to pass. I can't. So Lily went out and did her thing, and I sat in the room and stared at my High School Musical notebook and tried to figure out jokes. And panicked. I was there for 2 nights. The last time I did a Friday night and a Saturday night there at the Darkroom Theater, and it was amazing. So a lot of tickets and a lot of people came, and it was really cool back in 2010, and it was the fledgling effort. And people up there have always been cool and said, hey, why don't you come back? So I had the Kickstarter shows that I was scheduling, but I went, you know what, I should get another show earlier. I would like to do that before I went on the road. And so I called the Dark Room, and they were very nice, and I was able to negotiate with them. It's funny, the people that run the Dark Room are Aaron and Jim, and they are just these refugees from 1968. I mean, they are just these hippies, and I'm sure they were there in the Haight-Ashbury when it all went down. I don't know. Wait, did anything go down there? I have no idea if anything went down. But they were there for the Summer of Love, and they just decided to stay. And I'm sure, on that stage, it might be a famous stage. Like they may have put up, famous crazy pot-strewn actors or fucking acid trip guys. I don't know. It's that kind of room. It's that kind of vibe. And that's who they are, man. Like to the point where it's almost kind of creepy. Like, I mean, when I'll tell you, I'll skip ahead real quick. When I showed up for the show, like Jim comes walking out, and he's like wearing a pair of shorts, and he had I think he had no shoes on. Like he's like barefoot in the theater. He's like, hey man. I'm like, oh no, dude, you're a grown man, cover your feet. But who am I to tell a hippie how to behave? I mean, you know who I am? I'm a grown man. That's who I am. I'm a grown-ass man. And that's right. I have the privilege of telling a hippie how to behave. I'll grab him by his fucking patchouli smoke and slap him the fuck around. Don't get near me, hippie. All right, so I put out the warning. Now, that's what I do. And look, believe me, I don't have to put out a verbal warning. Whenever I'm walking and a hippie sees me, he crosses the fucking street. He is not happy because he realizes that I am the man. And not just the man, but I'm also the man. All right, so hippies fear the man. Because you guys know me as the man. You guys are like, oh, Mike Schmidt's the man. But they're like, dude, it's the man. So I can be both. I can serve both functions. I'm the man, and I'm also the man. All right, so it's all about inflection, folks. Whether you're an authority figure or just a cool guy that everybody enjoys, it's all about inflection. This is ridiculous. How long is this show? All right, so I was heading back to the Darkroom Theater to go. I said I will go back because they had extended the offer to me when I did the show there before. This is a cool thing. Jim and Aaron, as I mentioned, hippies and but awesome. And I brought Lily with me, and Lily ran sound. And they were so nice. Like after the show, they were so complimentary, and they said they were just like, you have to come. You can come back. Like you can do a residency here, like every month. They were so cool and saying you should do a recurring thing. We can bring it back anytime you want it. Sketchfest should know about you. They were really, really nice. And so I always had them hip pocketed whenever I was going to go back. I was going to go back to the Darkroom Theater. So I decided to go back, and I contacted them. They were very nice. They remembered me, which I was shocked. And they were like, "You got to come back. It'll be fun." And I negotiated a date. And here was the thing: they do 2 shows a night at the Darkroom Theater. So they have a 7:30, and then they have a 10 o'clock. And in order for me to make my show fit into that window, I was going to have to cut some things. And I was in the middle of trying to cut some things anyway, but I still wasn't sure how long the show would be. And then I do the meet and greet. But I didn't want to start late. Here, if I was going to do that, I had to do the 7:30. There was no way I could do the 10 o'clock because the last time I did San Francisco, I did 10 o'clock, and we all got out of there at like 1. Okay. And that was because we started late, and then I was on stage for 2 hours, and then it just turned into a thing, and the BART stopped running, and the buses and everything shut down, and I actually said on stage, I closed San Francisco. So there's no way I can go up that fucking late. So I was back and forth with Erin, and she's like, you can take the late spot or the early spot. I said, here's the thing. I do a merch thing where I do a meet and greet, I take photos, and I sell shirts. Because some people just know me from shirts. They'll come out. They won't even buy tickets to the show. They'll just show up after the show is finished, and then they'll pick up a shirt and leave. And they said, great. She said, well, then you're going to want to do the 7:30, but then you can probably do the meet and greet out in the lobby. Well, their lobby is, it's fucking tiny. Like, I mean, it is so, you walk in and then you step over two hobos and then you're in the theater. I mean, it's literally that small and cramped. And I didn't want to put you guys through that. Yeah, and it's funny because if you've come to see me, you've seen these small, tiny, cramped theaters that I've played, and believe me, I am still looking out for you. I promise. Like, I mean, I've talked to prospective theaters, and I've said to them, "Hey, is it cold in there? Like, I mean, do you have heat?" Because it just seems weird that I go to these places and I contact them. They say they're a theater, but any slapdick can put up a fucking strip of AstroTurf and a fucking half-ass pig nose amp, and they say they got a showroom. So I just try to make sure that it's still acceptable for you guys, because I can talk anywhere. Fuck, who cares? I mean, I'm in a stripper's kitchen for the 900th week in a row. I can pull this off anywhere. But as far as live, it's different because you guys are going to be sitting there, and I don't want you to be miserable. Even though the darkroom theater their chairs are evil, from what I've understood. I didn't have to sit in them, thankfully. But I stood on stage, when I did the show before, I was on stage for 2 hours standing, and I think I was more comfortable than the people in the audience. All right. But these hippies are so nice, I can't avoid them. I mean, I have to go and work at their theater because they were so cool. So we were going back and forth. She's like, do you want the early slot, the late slot? I go, I do this merch thing. And she's like, well, then you should probably want the late slot. I said, nah, I don't, because then I talk for 3 hours. And she's like, oh my Christ, make up your fucking mind. No, she didn't. She's a hippie. She went, cool, man, groovy. And then she actually did an emoticon of the peace sign. So, although it may have been a Mercedes symbol. I have no idea. I'm not sure. So, so maybe they've crossed over. Maybe they've left their hippie trappings behind, and now they're they're thrilled with corporate bloodlust. So I said, what's it cost for me to get the whole night? And she was really cool. She said, we just raised our prices for renting, but I will give you the 2011 prices because it's so early in the year, and we love you and we want you back. And she quoted me a price, and then she said, "Are you bringing your friend to do the sound again?" She asked if my wife was coming to do the sound again, and I mentioned no, my wife was not going to be coming this time for the trip. And she said, "Well, if you need us to do sound, it's an extra amount of money, which is the way it is at every theater." And I said, "Great." We settled on a number. I said, "Done." She said, "Done." I sent a deposit. So we're booked. And then I sat down to crunch the numbers. And the thing is, the show is close by my house. And you guys, I did the Kickstarter to fund shows to the East Coast because I mentioned it's so much more expensive to go to the East Coast for me to do these shows. Well, here, San Francisco's driving distance. So I sat down, I figured out the numbers, and I'm like, all right, well, if I drove, especially even with fucking gas prices where they are now, figure $70 a tank. And that's high. But still, it's about 64. You don't care? So it's 70 back and forth. You can write that down, do the math. Didn't I have math earlier? Put on your thinking cap, folks. This whole show's a word problem. If Mike Schmidt leaves Grand Rapids on a train with his one listener and his case of shirts at 8 a.m., and Bob Mould from Sugar leaves Cincinnati on a train at 8 p.m., at what point will Todd in Portland decide to stop buying shirts from Mike? After he makes fun of him for the 1,000th time. That dude knows me from shirts. All right, so, folks, crunching the numbers. Get your pens out right now, folks. So, are you okay? Don't laugh. There's an accident brewing. There's an accident on those trains. I don't know if you heard. I'm on a train from Grand Rapids. Holy shit. That's going to be a problem. All right. So it's like $70 a tank. So I sat down to do the math. I'm like, all right, it's 70 each way. So that's $140. And you put in the hotel and you figure out how much for the theater. I started to crunch the numbers, figure out the money. And, I don't do this to make money. You know that. I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, certainly if the opportunity presents itself, I'm happy to make some money. But I'm doing this to get the show good. And then as long as I break even, I'm fine. I mean, my tax guy told me, make sure you lose money. He's that guy. So I was happy to go up there. But again, driving, the only thing I'm sacrificing when I'm driving is 5 hours of time each way. But I'm okay with that because I kind of want to spend some time in the car going over the show. Bits, Certainly, because look, I'm not gonna lie, I was crazy fucking nervous going to San Francisco and doing this show because I haven't been on stage in 3 months, and it's so funny because there are people who are like, dude, you've done the show before, you're gonna kill it, and it's like, yeah, but you don't understand. There were people coming to the show who'd seen it before too. I knew that. So in my head, I'm like, well, it's got to be just as fucking good as it was, or better than it was the last time that they fucking saw it, because it's got to justify the trip that they're making. Because you know, a lot of people drive a long way. They'll come like 6-7 hours to come and see me do the show, and I've built it up on this fucking show by talking about it over and over as if it's some sort of great thing, and it's not. It's just me talking. Fucking forever, you know what I mean? It's just, and that's the whole thing is I'm trying to chop it down. It's I'm doing these 3-hour marathons. I'm the Springsteen of live shows, and then it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. You're gonna build up this thing that you're never gonna be able to live up to. So then I was freaked out at having not been on stage for 3 months. I'm like, I'm gonna go up there and suck in front of people who've seen the show before, and they're gonna be disappointed. So then I actually thought to myself, well, some of these people have seen the show before. Do I need to change it? Now I had talked to myself about changing it anyway. I talked to myself about it. Yes, we said that in a discussion. But it needs to be changed anyway because the show is fluid. I mean, it should be fluid every time I do it. It should be different. I'm trying to shape it into something that I want to present to industry, but this is all a lie. I mean, honestly, I just want to show up and fucking talk. I mean, it's fluid, but at the same time, I just want to do what I fucking want to do. So part of me in my head was like, should I change it for the people who've seen it? And that's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm going to change the show for 3 people. I mean, 4 people, 5 people, 8 people. I mean, but you know, when I'm getting smaller crowds, I'm thinking I need to play and make them think the trip was worth it. Look, this is the bullshit I go through. All right. So I was welcoming the 5-hour ride in the car because then I could write an entire new show. Oh my God, I couldn't wait to tear it apart and come up with a completely new performance for all of you. When in my head, there are people who haven't seen me who are coming out, but again, I've built it up into this fucking thing, even though it's not. Awful. So, and you know what part of it is? Part of it is the mythologizing I do about it here on the show when I do these 3-hour fetish podcasts about the previous week's show. Idiot. I should just come on and just go, San Francisco went well. So anyway, let's talk about Rihanna. But instead, I fucking plant a flag like Sir Edmund fucking Hillary, and I climb to the top of this goddamn podcast mountain with my mouth. All right. So I was welcoming the idea of being in the car for 5 hours because I was so fucking scared about going up and doing the show. And I was wanting to go through it. I would have actually recited the show a few times in the car and gone through and figured it out. When in reality, that's so antithetical to the way I like to work anyway, because I like to look at 2 words and then tell a 10-minute thing about those 2 words and just rampage. You know what I mean? So in my head, why the fuck am I making myself? Because you know why? Because I am so terrified. And again, this is just in my fucking head. I'll just let you, let's pull the curtain back again. Fuck you. I don't have curtains in my head. I got blinds. Let's open the blinds on my head. Why did I say fuck you? That's not, you didn't say that there were curtains in my head. Fuck me. Yeah, fuck you, Mike. All right. You don't think there's curtains in my head, right? You thought there was blinds all along. Don't look in there. All right. So part of me, I don't ever want to lose funny, period. So I want to try to remember every single funny thing I've ever said within the context of the show. And the show itself is off the cuff. Like, I mean, you know, there's narrative certainly, and there's stories that are going to be told, but they might get told differently in every city. They might get told differently every time I do it. But in my head, I'm like, well, you got to remember the way you told it that last time. You got to remember the way it was funny the last time. You got to remember all those jokes that were said last, even though they were off the top of my head. And that's how I like to work. So on one hand, you've got me who wants to go in fucking just, seat of the pants and go forward, and whatever comes out, comes out. And then there's the writer part of me that wants to make sure I have the tight narrative, and I want to be able to make sure that I use all of the funny that I've said on stage in the past. And those 2 dudes in a car for 5 hours would have been fighting. That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for the 2 of them to fucking have at it while I listened to the new Van Halen album. So that was fine. So I was welcoming the ride. But then, folks, as you know, I can't sleep. Like I fucked up my sleep schedule so bad for some reason in the past 3 weeks, and I will fuck up my sleep schedule. This happens in bursts. I'll fuck myself up sleeping wise, and then I'll take a week and I'll get back to a normal thing where I'm sleeping, 7 hours a night and everything seems to be fine. But then I'll stay up for 2 days in a row, and it fucking throws everything off. So when Karen went out of town, I was doing that, man. I was staying up until 10 at night, and then I would go to bed, and then I'd wake up at like 4 in the morning, and then I would be up from 4 in the morning until 10 at night. It's like this, I was in reverse, like this weird thing, and then I'll sleep for 2 hours in a chair, and then I'm okay. Like I just did it again yesterday. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's just, I do this thing where I it's like a child does. When a child just decides he's going to sleep whenever he wants to sleep, or he's going to do things the way he wants to do it. I think I told you this. It's weird. It's like it's a child's decision making made by a grown up, under the guise of it being a grown up decision. I told you this. I will sleep in a chair in my living room because I love the idea that nobody can tell me that I have to go to bed. And that's a child's way of thinking, seen through a grown-up's prism. Because, I mean, as a grown-up, I'm like, fuck it, you can't tell me what to do. But I'm a child, I can do whatever the fuck I want. You know what I mean? It's strange. It's just a weird justification. And you know that about me, and I've covered this many, many times. I'm sure I have. So just yesterday, it just happened again where I got home from work, and I have a second wind. I get a second wind at 6 a.m. Well, I sat down, and I slept in the chair for 3 hours, and then I didn't go to bed. I slept for 3 hours. I woke up at like 9:30, and then that was it. I stayed up all day at the house, and I got a lot of stuff done. I contacted people that I was supposed to contact, and because I lose my days, and so normal people are functioning. So I'm like, well, fuck it. I don't want to lose daylight here. So I did a ton of shit yesterday during the day, but then I still had to go to Graveyardville and work last night, and I was by fucking 3 a.m. I was a zombie. And I think I told you last week, I'm all fucked up. So time came last week. And I had made this decision because I told you in Wednesday's show how fucked up my sleep thing was. Why I had decided 2 days previous that I didn't think I could drive. Certainly not by myself to San Francisco because it was 5 hours, and I was trying to figure out how it would work. I would do the podcast on Wednesday, and then I would come home and I would have to do all my email blasts and Facebook pages and all that bullshit. And then I usually get done with that around like 5 a.m. And then And then I was going to drive. I was going to get in the car and drive, but then you're in fucking rush hour, and I was going to hit that, and I didn't know how long it was going to take, and I wasn't sure I could stay awake, and I was like, dude, I talked myself out of it. I go, dude, you can't fucking drive. You're going to fall asleep. So I decided Monday of last week that I was going to fly on Friday or on Thursday, and when I sat down and I did the math on this, I said it was $70 each way for my car, so that was $140. So I went and looked for flights 6 weeks ago, when I knew I was going to San Francisco, and flights were $155. So I could have flown to San Francisco for $150, but then I got to check a bag, $25 each way. So we're looking at $205 there. Then I got to rent a car when I get to town. And who knows how much that is going to be. So in my head, I'm like, fuck that. Save all that, dude. Drive. All it costs you is 10 hours. Well, because my sleep schedule was so fucking ruined, I decided Monday, you know what? I can't do this. I have to fly. I have to fucking fly. So I sat down and I went looking, and I first decided to check Burbank to San Francisco. I checked on Monday, and the flight is 300. It's an hour. It's an hour flight, 340 miles. Burbank to San Francisco, cheapest ticket. Burbank to San Francisco was $424. By the way, that ticket, one-stop flight. You had to fly from Burbank to Phoenix and then go from Phoenix to fucking San Francisco. That was the cheap flight. Direct flights from Burbank to San Francisco were $488. That was the cheapest for direct non-stops. And I swear to God, I looked at it, and look, we all know I hate the fucking airlines. I think they are the biggest rape job in the world. They fuck you hard. So hard they should hand you condoms instead of peanuts on the plane. I mean, you are getting fucking railed. And you know what? They don't even give you fucking peanuts anymore. But I think they are just robber barons. They just charge you all this fucking money for nothing. And look, air travel is a miracle. I get that. All right. If I want to be somewhere, they're the only game in town. Unless, I can grab on a Superman's cock as he fucking flies by and he drags me wherever to Vegas. But flights, it just $488 fucking. Dude, and I was in my house stewing. It's that thing where there's nothing you can do about it but get mad. And I'm just getting madder and madder. And I'm like, why are you getting mad? There's nothing you can fucking do about this. But it's because I had already talked myself into flying. And I'm like, you can't justify a purchase of $488. And it painted me in a corner where I went, I'm going to have to drive. Because before, when I had decided I wanted to drive, I was fine. But now that I was going to have to drive, that just made it that much tougher. Seriously, it made the fucking 10-hour round trip seem like fucking 100. And boy, if you thought the two of me's were going to be fighting in the car before, now they'd just be furious. Now they just, while the third me slept it off. So I went, all right, fuck, I got to LAX. I have to go LAX because Burbank's closer to me. And I for some reason, I thought it would be convenient and it would make sense. So I went online. I started Googling flights. And the cheapest flight I found was, I found a $160 flight from Long Beach to San Francisco on JetBlue, which, I've never flown JetBlue. I was excited to try it, but, with the time I had to leave, I would have been in traffic driving to Long Beach. It was just, honestly, it would have been like an hour and a half to get to Long Beach and then an hour and a half back on Saturday. So I might as well just driven the fucking car. I mean, I'm then 2.5 hours away from fucking San Francisco. Just get in the car and drive, you pussy. So I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, well, I can do that. I was going to book it. And then I went, well, take a look at these other flights. And I found a flight for $257 on American from LAX, nonstop. And I went, fuck it. You got to do it. You have to do it. It saves you the hour and a half. It saves you the 5 hours. And it was only $100 more than I would have spent. And I know it's ridiculous to say only $100 more, but for business, I can kind of write it off. And I just, in my head, I'm justifying it, even though I was pissed. So I said, you know what, fucking book it. Book it. Just book it. So I did. I had to book a flight for $260. Oh, by the way, I booked the $260. Then I remember, you got to check your bags. That's another $50, folks. So that's $310 just on the flight. Now, driving, like I said, back and forth, would have been $150. Yes, more math. This happened live too when I did the show, because I told this story live at the show in San Francisco, and I think I actually said, everybody, I needed you to have an abacus for this fucking story. So terrible. So it was $260 to fly plus checking the bags versus the $150 it would have been to drive. So I'm like, all right, well now $310 versus $150. I'm already $160 in the hole. I said, that's fine. I mean, whatever. I can justify that, and it's it's going to do a show. It's for a good cause. But and also, oh, by the way, Mike, you forgot. You need to rent a car if you don't drive. And I thought of that. I had thought of it before, but it didn't really manifest itself in my brain until after I'd bought the ticket. So now I go, oh shit, I got to go Priceline a car. So that's okay, because I've been able to Priceline cars. I've been great deals all over the place. As I sat down to Priceline the cars, I've gotten them for I got a car for $10 a day in one city. Awesome. So I sat down and I started to Priceline the car, and I bid $10, and they said no, and I bid $12, and they said no, and I bid $15, and they said no, and that kicks you out. You can't do it. It's 24 hours. You only have like 3 shots at it. So that's okay. I need to get a hotel, because this was Monday. I'm there Thursday. I still don't have a hotel room. I had Pricelined 4 days in a row and not been able to find my price. So, because folks, here's something you need to know about me. I won't go below 3 stars on Priceline. I refuse to do it. And it's worked in every other city. I've gotten rooms for $45. I've done very well in like Minneapolis, Milwaukee, everywhere I've gone. But San Francisco was not cooperating. And it was saying that the median price in the places I was looking was $179 for a room. And I'm like, well, I'll 50. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to come in at that number. And no, it took me 6 days to Priceline it. And then finally I expanded my horizons to one. There was another area, like one more area that I said, all right, I'll throw in Japantown. And that's what it's called on Priceline, Japantown, which sounds like an awesome amusement park. How fucking great is that amusement park? The concessions are fantastic, but do not ride the kamikaze ride. So... So I'm looking at Japantown, and I throw them in, and I bid $50 and it won't do it. I bid $60, it won't do it. So it kicks me out again. So this was Monday. So now I have a flight, but I don't have a car and I don't have a hotel, and I'm going to be there on Thursday. So and in my head I'm like, well, fuck. I guess I could kind of cancel the flight and go ahead and keep that as a credit and then drive. You can't drive, stupid. Furious. So then Tuesday, I wake up and I go, look, you have to do it. This is the day you have to do it. So I sat down, I expanded my choices. There's fucking Japantown. I should have thrown in Chinatown in honor of Van Halen, but it wasn't a choice. But I threw in Japantown and all these other areas, and I squared it up, and I wound up having to bid $80. I got up to $80, and I go, fuck, I have to do it. It wouldn't take $75. I put in $80, and it gave me a room for $80 a night at the Holiday Inn on Van Ness. And I went, are you fucking joking me? The Holiday Inn is 3 stars? And when is the Holiday Inn 3 stars? Furious at Priceline in San Francisco and holidays. But at least now I have a hotel at $80 a night for Thursday and Friday. So you do that, and you add in the room taxes and everything else, folks. And you can see where I'm at money-wise, which is fine. Now I got to get a car. So I sit down and do the car again, and I do like $14 and $16. And finally, I had to bid $20 a day on the car, and it was accepted. Except for the fact that remember I mentioned that the airlines are the robber barons and they fucking bend you over a table and fuck you in the ass with their nose cone all the time? Hey, you know who's waiting right behind them for sloppy seconds? Motherfucking Hertz and other rental car companies, because guess what? I'm returning the car at noon on Saturday. That's a third day. As far as they're concerned, a full day's charge they're charging me. There's no prorating. That's a full day. So I had to it was $20 a day plus that, plus the insurance that I had to buy. That was $140 itself for the car, folks. That's what I would have paid in gas driving up. Not to mention the flight and checking the bag. Dude, I just got fucking hammered. And it's my own fault. You know why? Because I can't sleep. That's it. Fucking insomnia cost me this. My ridiculous hours, my graveyard schedule cost me like fucking $400. God damn it, Furies. And it's all my fault. That's the thing. I can't be mad. Really. It's my fucking fault. It's not like Priceline conspired to gamble and keep me out of their bidding. Everybody takes the price that they'll take. And I was fucked because I couldn't sleep. God damn sleep. Stupid Sandman. Yeah, you. I blame you. And you know what's funny? You know what would be really good for my my sleep schedule and getting that straightened back out? Listening to the last 4 minutes of this show. Oh my Christ, how fucking boring is the number crunching portion of this show? Jesus fuck. It might not even be 4 minutes. It might be 6 minutes. It might be 8.5 minutes. I don't know. Whatever anything from the time I started talking about fucking buying a ticket and flying and changing it up, just cut it out. Literally rewind it and remove it from your iTunes. There's got to be some special code you can get to delete that, right? To remove it from our brains? Jesus, fuck. You know what that was, that section? That was the Mizuzu of fucking podcasts. It was, no, actually, Mizuzu lasted a second. I wish it was that fleeting. I wish it were the Mizuzu of podcasts. He was just a second and gone, but it was just as fucking scary. All right. So I get taken to LAX. I got to fly Thursday. I stayed up. I did the show last Wednesday. I got home. I finished all my stuff, and then I said I'm not sleeping. Again, I didn't sleep. I woke up Wednesday after 4 hours of sleep and came here, did the show, went home, stayed up all night, and said, I'm not going to bed. I'm just going to go ahead and stay up until I fly, which I did. I packed everything, got squared away, got dropped off at the airport. Karen took me out there, and I went into United because that's who I wound up booking a flight on. It wasn't American, it was United. And I always get those two mixed up because they're the only two airlines left in America. All right, so... So I get into LAX, and it was the same place I flew from Milwaukee. I flew United in Milwaukee. So I was very familiar with the terminal. I mean, it's funny, as I fly more and more, I get very familiar with places, the terminals. I know where I'm going. So I walked in and I checked my bag, and they do that stupid thing where you got to go up, because I have to check a bag, so they want your fucking driver's license out. You know what I mean? And it's just I'm not a child, but I understand they have to do it to keep me safe from sky pirates. All right, fine. So I pull up and I've got my bag, and I open my wallet, and they always say, can I have it out, sir? So I have to pull up my license and hand it to them, which is fine. I do that, and then the thing I don't like about it is then you have to keep it out because you got to show it to the TSA person, and then you got to show it up at security and whatever the fuck. So I do that. I check my bag, and I walk over to go into security, and they're like, this one's closed. It's too busy. Go to the other end and take the elevator up. And this is exactly what happened in Milwaukee. They closed the security, and then I had to take the elevator up, and that's where I ran into fucking Whiny Joe, the whitest guy in America, who had a white man's dress shirt on with mayonnaise in one pocket and a ticket to the Hamptons in the other. You remember him? So I got to go upstairs, and I get up there, and this time I did not buy the executive fucking walk past everybody bullshit, so I had to get in line just like the rest of you slackers. And there's like 35, 40 people in line. It's not that bad. So I get in line, and it's all the way to the back, and it's inside the terminal. The line stretches outside to the Sky Bridge. So I'm there waiting, and a Japanese gentleman gets behind me, and some other people get behind me. We're all in line, and we're waiting. My flight is at 10 after 11, and it is. I look at my watch. It's about 5 after 10. So I got an hour, and I'm breezed to the gate. We're fine. So I'm standing there for a couple minutes, and behind me, the gentleman, the Japanese businessman, reaches up and he taps me on the shoulder. And I look, and by the way, he did reach up because he was tiny. He was a little small dude. So I turn around and he goes, excuse me, please, to ask, what time is your flight? And by the way, I don't know if I'm going to do that Japanese voice, but that wasn't bad, right? That was semi-close. I'm back out on the tightrope of racism right now with that voice, but not really, because that's what he sounded like. If you would have heard him, you would know exactly what he sounded like, because seriously, that was him. He was very polite and nice, and he spoke like that in these soft, hushed tones because he was bothering Godzilla. So, And I looked down upon him, and I said, 11:10, I think. And he said, "Oh, is there a way I could cut in front of you? Go ahead of you, please, because to see flight is to 10." And he held his ticket out as he's trying to talk, and I look, and his flight is at 10:25. And it's 10:05. We're in a security line, so he's got to get through security and then all the way up to the fucking gate. Like, it's just crazy. So he goes, so please let's go ahead. Flight is at, and he's trying to talk, and I look and I go, "Oh yeah, go ahead of me." And he goes, "Oh, sure, serious?" I said, "Yes, please, go right ahead. It's not go. It was weird that he's even asking to me. So he gets in front of me and he goes, "Oh, thank you," and he's bowing 100 times. And he goes, "Thank you so much, thank you." And he cuts in front of me and he stops. And then there's a couple in front of me, and he taps them on the shoulder. "Oh, excuse me to ask, please, what time is flight?" And I'm like, "Dude, no, don't fucking do it. Just go. It's no problem." I wanted to grab him like a football and just run him to the front of the line. But I wasn't at that point. He's not my problem. I let him go ahead of me. That's fine. What if you're gonna miss your flight? That's I can't help you. So those people were very nice, and they said, "Yes, please." Oh my gosh, they again very polite, and they said, "Go right ahead." So he cuts in front of them. And then there's another person, and "Oh, please, excuse me," he taps them on the shoulder. "What time is flight?" I'm like, "Dude, there's like 30 people ahead of you in fucking line, and we're in that we're all in a single file line outside. It's just he's gonna be skipping." And everybody's just like, go. We're all telling him to just go. But he continues. He's a very nice man. And he keeps asking. And finally he goes to like the fifth guy. He skips, And then the fifth guy was a guy he was probably like 6'7". He was a tall businessman dude. And I could see him. He was a white dude, bald head. And I just see the fucking hand come out of the line and tap him on the shoulder. And he turns around and he looks. And I can't hear it anymore, but I can guarantee he's going, "Oh, excuse me, what time is flight?" And he looks down and he goes, I don't know, 11 noon, I don't know. And he kind of ignores him and he goes, "Oh, but please too." And he holds up his ticket and so the guy can read it. And I just see the guy go, "No," and turns around. And the Japanese guy just stands down, just like stops, and is just like, you can just see him kind of slumps his shoulders like, "Okay." And everybody behind the Japanese guy just goes, "No, bullshit, go, just go." And the white guy turns around and he looks at all of us and he goes, "Hey, it's not my fault he's late." And we're all like, "Come on, let the guy, his flight leaves in like 15 minutes, let him go." And people are all like saying this, I'm saying it. And behind me, out of nowhere, some guy just goes, "Boo!" Awesome. Just boos the white guy. Just lets him have it. Fucking awesome. And all of us are pissed. We're just like, "Come on, man. Just he's got a flight in 15 minutes." And he's like, "It's not my fault that he's late." And at that point, there's so many people in the line. If he didn't let him cut, we were just going to lift him on our shoulders and crowd surf him to his plane. We would have burst through security, would have just gone to his gate and dropped him off. And then we would have all come back and gone through security. At this point, this guy's our son. We just want to get him on his plane and get him off to fucking Japan. He's so polite and nice. He shouldn't be here. And it's so funny. He's so polite and nice. And it was just this contrast where he ran into America. That guy was America in line. And America, no, just fucking in his face. Awful. So everybody's kind of like, there's this weird thing where we're just getting pissed kind of and just let him go. And finally the white guy's just like, "Oh," and then we just go to the Japanese, "Go, just go." Everybody's like, go. And he goes, "I saw it." And he just sneaks out of line and he goes to the front. Everybody just lets him go to the front. And it's just this thing where everybody's like, yeah. And he just kind of walks and then calms down a little bit. And then the white guy turns around and it's quiet now because this guy's gone to the front. And the white guy turns around and he looks at everybody behind and he just goes, "Oh, does anybody else want to cut in line this morning?" And again, he had just gotten booed and he's the villain. He's obviously the villain at that point. So when he turns around and he drops that on us, it's just like, well, you can't get away with this villainry. I can't let this villainous behavior stand. This will not stand in LAX. So he turns around and he looks at it and he goes, "Oh, does anyone else want to cut this morning?" And I go, "Grow the fuck up, man. We're not in kindergarten. Calm the fuck down." And because again, everybody's mad at him. We all hate that guy, right? Everybody hates that guy. So I felt very comfortable in unleashing fury. I vomited hell all over this fucking guy. Because he's just like, "Hey, does anybody else want to cut this morning?" I said, "Grow the fuck up, man. All right, we're not in kindergarten. Jesus Christ, calm the fuck down." And I even like looked around like, huh? Silence. Nobody backs my play. Nobody's on my side. Everybody's like gazing at their shoe tops because I took it there. I went that much further than all of them. Even Boo Guy was not on my side. I turn around, I'm like, "Come on, Boo Guy, back me up here." Nope. I'm not even joking. I made a face like, huh? Yeah? How's that? Right? We're all... No? Nobody? All right. No, I guess nobody? Grow the fuck up, man. Calm the fuck down. Jesus Christ, we're not in kindergarten. Crickets. Uncomfortable silence and staring out the window. Like literally out the chain link fence to the street. Awful. And so then he turned around and I'm just like, oh, Jesus. And nobody wants any... I'm worse than him now. Nobody wants anything to do with me. Because I overstepped. So now I'm standing, I'm like, oh, Jesus. So I'm like, all right. So we're moving up and we're moving, you move up a foot at a time. And 2 security guards walk out because I guess they got wind that there was some rabble-rousing amongst the crowd. So they walk up and they're like, folks, we need you to get as close to the fence as you can. There's a yellow line here. Please, single file. Everybody be in a single file line. And there's a yellow line. And when you get to the front, there's a yellow line there. Please stop with your toes on that yellow line. And then the woman will call you to the front and she will look at your ID. Make sure your IDs are out. Yellow line. Please stand behind. And as they're saying it, they're like, stand in the yellow line and put your toes on the yellow line and wait for your name to be called. And it dawned on me, we were in kindergarten. I had just made a big stink to this guy. We're not in fucking kindergarten. Yes, we are. That's exactly where we are. Instead of shouting obscenities at a stranger, why don't you put your head down and buy a box of milk for 25 cents? You're in kindergarten. Fucking brutal. So I'm waiting behind the yellow line and we go up to the front and I hear them again. For some reason, there was this huge security presence at this line. Oh, well, I say for some reason, maybe the booing had something to do with it. But it was like all of a sudden out of the blue, there was like 30 security dudes. Like, I don't know if it was a changing of a shift, but they were just there and they were all scrapping for something to do. Hey, you move aside. I mean, just anything at all. Just a busy work. Bullshit. So we're getting to the front and I got my toes on the yellow line and I'm waiting. And I hear them. They start with the speech. Make sure you take your laptop out and you put it in the tub. And then you have a separate tub for all of your other things. And you make sure you take off your jackets and make sure you take off your overshirts and any hoodies. Because I was wearing a hoodie. And I almost was like, oh, that's me. Because hoodies was for me. There was clearly no one else in a hoodie. They meant me. So they said, yes, take off your hoodies. And then also, please make sure you take off all shoes and all belts and all this stuff. And in my head, I was like, oh, man, this is getting to be a bit much. I mean, I can take the hoodie off and I'll do the laptop thing and I'll take the shoes off. But I think I've discussed this with you folks before. Belts are a problem for me because I've lost a lot of weight in a short amount of time. I lost like 55 pounds. So my pants don't fit the way they used to. And so I have a range of jean sizes. Okay. I think we all do that where you've got, oh, it's a good day. I can wear those. And then, oh, well, it's a bad day. I need to toss those on. Like I used to have to wear sweatpants. Well, I refuse to wear sweatpants anymore. So now I still wear bigger jeans. I can wear a 40 that I'll wear on stage. But I can usually wear a 42 most of the time, but I'll wear a 44 from the old days when I was like really fat because those are like sweatpant jeans. There's a lot of room in them. They're like mom jeans for a guy. You know what I mean? There's a lot of play in my 44s. So I wear 44 to fly. That's got to be the name of the show, right? There's a lot of play in my 44s. So I'll wear 44 jeans to fly because they are just like literally hanging off of me. I mean, I look like I'm in a gang. All right. They're that, but they're comfortable as hell. So it's like, I don't have to worry about them. That's fine. So as we're approaching, they're like, hey, you got to take your belts off, shoes off. Now, here's the problem with the 44s. As I mentioned, they hang off of me with a belt on. If I take the belt off, we have a problem. Like I'm a hillbilly. Like I got to hold my pants up. I'm not even joking. They will, it's brutal. I have to hold them up. So we get inside and again, there's a million TSA dudes. And I start taking off the shoes and I take off my hoodie and you put them in the trays and I take out my laptop and because there's so many guys, they're actually individually coming up to people. And the guy comes up to me and he goes, you got everything off, shoes, you get a hoodie, sweatshirt, have separate trays. I go, yeah. And he goes, belt. And I go, my belt's fine. And he goes, no. He goes, you got to take your belt off. I said, look, I've walked through before with a belt. It's not a problem. It's just, you can look at it here. And I showed him my belt and he goes, you got to take your belt off, sir. No exceptions. I said, look, if I take my belt off and put it in the thing, it's, I lost a lot of weight. I start to try to explain it to him and he's looking at me. He goes, sir, you got to take your belt off. And I was not happy about it, but in my head I was like, I'm a child. So I was like, all right. You want my fucking belt off? Belt's coming off. So I put everything in separate trays, and then I take my belt off, and I'm holding up my pants. And he had told me that I should say that I told him I didn't want to take my belt off because if you don't take your belt off, we're going to go through your bags. We will take you aside, you get the pat down, and go through your bags, and da-da-da. You can choose to opt out of this, but that means you're asking to be screened and patted down and all that. And I said, all right, you want my belt off? Fine. I took my belt off and held up my jeans. And there were two separate lines. There was one that was just a metal detector, and then there was one that had the, hey, we're going to take a picture of your balls. So I wound up in that line with the body scanner. And so I put my stuff in, and I waited for it to go into the machine, and I'm holding up my jeans, and a guy walks through, and then I'm next. And the thing is, when you get to the body scanner, you have to put your feet. They have little feet marks there. You have to hit, again, there's yellow lines, and now there's footsteps for you to put your feet on. And you have to put your hands in the air like you're a criminal up against the fucking wall. So they can scan, I don't know, so they can see your fucking biceps. I don't know what the fuck. So I went in there, and I stood, and they're like, all right, turn around and face this and put your hands in the air. Now, again, I'm holding up my jeans. And I turn around, and I got my feet on the thing. And look, I'm a grown man, right? I'm 44 years old. There is a way for me to position my hips to where my jeans will stay up. All right. I know how to arch my back and I mean, it's just, I can spread I can kick my thighs out a little more to where it'll support my pants and keep them up. They'll be loose and they'll be hanging, but I mean, they'll be up still. So I can do that. I can make that happen. But where's the fun in that? So I turned around, and I put my feet in the little feet marks and the footprints, and the guy goes, all right, hands up. And I said, okay. And I put my hands in the air and whoop, dropped my pants. Just let them go. Didn't even fucking think twice.
God, I wish I would have been there.
Dropped my pants in front of fucking everybody. All security people on the line. Because you know what? I'm 44, and I am absolutely no longer concerned with who sees my balls. Seriously, I don't. The list of people that I don't want to see my balls is getting shorter every goddamn day. I don't give a fuck. That's your problem. You know what I mean? At this point, I'm an old man. I'm one of those old dudes who you see in the summer sitting on a park bench and his balls are hanging out the side of his shorts. And you're like, hey, dude, tuck those away. And he's like, oh, sorry about that, dude. Just my balls. I mean, it's just, they have a mind of their own at this point. Who cares? I mean, they're down around your knees anyway. So I let my jeans go. Boom. And I will say this, all right, because I still have a modicum of decency, and I still knew a little bit about comedy. So I didn't want to go full Laurel and Hardy. All right, I'm not going to drop them to the floor. So because that's just ridiculous. Because then you look like a sap. Then it looks like there should be a slide whistle going. You know what I mean? So what I did, I let them go, and I went them down to my knees, and I just fucking Billy White Shoes Johnson my knees out a little bit and caught him. Like I caught him at knee level. So I'm just, and I was supposed to tell you this. I'm wearing Spider-Man pants. So it's not a big deal. I mean, I'm wearing fucking long johns. It's not just full-on boxers. So that was another reason why I went, who fucking cares? Just drop your pants. I don't care. Fuck you. Calm the fuck down. We're not in fucking kindergarten, right? Drop my fucking pants. Silence. But I did. I just fucking dropped my pants right there. I let them go. And I caught them with my knees. And so and my balls are fucking hanging. Everything's out. And again, covered up with long johns. And they think you're going to be embarrassed. Like they think you're going to go, oh my gosh. And so my pants dropped, and the guy goes, sir, oh my God, are you okay? Is that a problem? And I go, no, man, you going to do this? I'm fine. You wanted my belt off. And he goes, pull your pants up, sir. And I go, well, are we done? And he goes, well, no, you got to pull your, I go, I can't have my hands up and hold my pants up. Can't do it. You wanted the belt off. I said, I've lost 50 pounds in 4 months. And he goes, face the machine. Face the machine, put my hands up, took a photo of me and my balls and said, all right, you're done. Pulled my jeans up and scooted off to the fucking side. And then fat me's got to put my belt on in front of everybody. And then, of course, there's titters. This fucking country is so full of fucking prudes and idiots and just, they're all like, oh my God, can you believe that he did that? Oh my God, there's kids around it. Dude, I'm in long johns. It's not even like my cock was out or anything. I'm wearing fucking long john underwear. And again, they all know me as the guy who yelled fuck twice. I don't know why they're surprised that I caused a scene at the goddamn underwear corral. I didn't give a fuck. Who cares? So I put my jeans up, put my belt on, and people are walking by and like tisk me. And I don't, fuck you. This is not on me. It's on the 80 fucking dudes who have a fetish about my belt. So I fucking strapped it up and moved on. And it was the thing, it's like my belt. It's like, dude, I even showed them I'm wearing a leather belt. I'm not Batman. This is not a utility belt full of gadgets for me to wreak havoc on the fucking plane, all right? I don't have smoke pellets and a batarang to fucking disarm the Joker as I get closer to the gate. The only superpower my belt has is it holds up my fucking pants. It provides a cloak of invisibility for my balls. That's the only superpower my belt has. And now you've violated it. You've pierced my cloak of invisibility and my balls have been exposed to the goddamn world. I hope you're happy. I'm not even though I'm wearing Spider-Man pants, I'm not Spider-Man, right? You know that. Fuck me. And then they give me dirty looks. Get bombed. So I fucking hike them up, put on the belt, I make my move. I couldn't believe it. I was so furious. Just take it off. Fuck you. Jesus Christ. Buy me a drink. So I bail. I fucking go to my gate. Sitting at my gate, waiting to fly, just sitting there. And of course, there's that thing. Everybody sees me and they'll make that face like, oh my God, he's the guy whose pants fell down. Who fucking cares? I don't care. So we go to board the plane. They start fucking boarding everybody. And I go in and I sit down. I approach. I was in, was I in 29? I was in 29F. I don't know. I was on the right side of the plane in the window seat. And as I approach, there's a dude on the aisle. So I give him the face, hey, that's me. He stands up and I slide in, put my stuff in the bag or in the up top. And there's nobody in the middle seat next to it, which is great. So I come in and I sit down. And he's talking to his buddy. He's got a friend across the aisle from him. They're in the adjoining aisle seats, so they're not gay. I don't know how that works. Actually, one of them didn't want to sit in the fucking middle, and I don't blame him. But they're doing that. So they're doing their business. They're commiserating. So I'm just sitting there. I'm just waiting to put on my fucking earbuds and go to sleep because I have not slept. And finally, the waitresses start walking around and start closing all the things, and they're going to close the door. And the guy leans over to me and he goes, hey, do you mind if I put my briefcase underneath the middle seat on the floor here? I go, no, do it. That's great. He goes, yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's going to be between us. I said, that's fantastic news. I go, actually, it's better news for them than it is for me. Let's be honest. And he goes, oh, yeah. And he goes, because you're a big guy. And I go, oh, dude, it'd be miserable for anybody who sits in between us. Absolutely. I go, even though, and he goes, well, that's one of the times it's good to be a small guy. I go, yeah, but still, small guy and big guy, still, if you're in the middle, big guy is still lurking. I mean, you don't want to deal with that. And he goes, oh, man, one time I flew from Austria. And it was me and my friend here. And a guy gets on the plane. He had to be like 6'6", 350 pounds. And he just sits down in the middle. Right between, and he goes to sit in the middle, and my friend and I made this weird eye contact, like we flipped a coin to see who was going to have to sit next to him for the duration of the flight. Like we made it a bet, and his knees were touching his chin. He was so huge. I said, wow, that's awful. He goes, yeah, and I tried to explain. I asked him why he was doing that and why he sat in the middle, and he said, I tried to bump up to first class and they wouldn't do it, and this is all that they had. I got to fly standby, and I said, wow. I go, I said, I used to weigh 500 pounds. He goes, oh my gosh, really? And I go, yeah. I said, and actually it was kind of a game for me. Like I would get on the plane and I would just stare at, just to see the panicked looks on everybody's fucking face when I would get on the plane. They would just see my huge shadowy countenance come around the corner and they'd just fucking hide behind their Sky Mall magazines. Now, and this is like right from my act. You know what I mean? I go, they would hide behind their Sky Mall magazines. He goes, oh my God, that must have been brutal. I go, oh, it was great. I go, you'd see their faces. I go, believe me, they would rather see a guy with a turban full of box cutters than see my fat ass walk down and sit next to him. Which again is right from my act. But I'm also talking in shorthand to be funny. And I said, yeah, they'd rather see, because I meant it. You hear about the way I talk. That's kind of the way I talk. I talk like my act now. So I said, yeah, turban full of box cutters. And he goes, his face just like froze. Because in my head, I forget. Real people don't talk like me. I was supposed to listen to his anecdote about Austria, and I was supposed to nod politely and then go to sleep. A, I was not supposed to top it, and B, I was not supposed to mention a turban full of box cutters on a plane, ever. And he's looking right at me, and I go, yeah, they would have somebody with a turban full of box cutters, and they'd have my fat ass fucking sit next to him. And he freezes, and there's this moment of silence, and I'm looking at him in my head, I go, you should not have said that. You know that, right? Like, I knew it, but I'm still holding his eye contact. Like, I won't look away, because I'm not going to admit shame. I'm not going to admit defeat here. I've already shown my balls to an entire airport. I got shouted down as I tried to rally a riot. I tried to get a mob incited and they fucking bailed on me. I'm not letting this motherfucker off. So I kept staring him in the eyes. And this is God's truth. This is his fucking response to me. This is what he said. He just goes, okay. And he just immediately starts working. Like he takes out his iPad and just starts like hitting it with his fingers, even though he's not doing anything. He's just trying to get a screen of any sort, probably trying to identify me on the terrorist database to run my face. He's got some sort of software that runs my face. I don't fucking know. He could have been an air marshal. I have no idea. But my favorite part was the okay, because it wasn't like, okay, like sarcastic, and it wasn't like, oh, okay, like weird. It was just, okay. Like we're like I was holding him hostage, like, here, take the phone and tell them you want to meet at the street corner for the money drop. Okay. Like he was so frozen. He didn't know what else to say. Okay. And he immediately tucked his head into his iPad, freaked out. And then the waitress comes over and she's like, sir, you got to turn off electrical devices. Oh, he's all shaken up. But again, that's not on me, right? That's on him. So I throw on my headband, my earbuds, and I put on my fucking hood, which probably did not help. Now I'm the Unabomber sitting next to him. And I crashed out, man. I just fucking, slept for the hour-and-a-half flight or whatever it was. We land in San Francisco. And you've been on a plane. You know that thing when it lands, but it hasn't hit the gate yet, but still people are getting up because they're assholes. And I guess because they've been sitting in one spot for 4 hours, 5 hours, I understand it. But this is an hour flight. I mean, what the fuck are you doing? You're not going to stretch your legs now. Just sit the fuck down till we get to the gate, motherfucker. But it doesn't matter. The second that bing, bong hits, people just jump out of their fucking chairs. Nothing's open yet, but it doesn't matter. They stand in the aisle, clogging it up, cutting in front of fucking people. What the fuck? You're going to get 10 seconds on me? You dick. And I look, I don't hate flying. I just hate the people who fly. They're fucking, and the airlines. I hate the airlines. I love the concept of flying through the air from one place to another. If I could do it alone without a plane, that'd be perfect. Just me and Superman, me holding his cock on the way to Vegas, as I mentioned. I guess I'm not really alone at that point, but I don't care. I could settle for just me and Superman. So I guess I like flight. I like the concept of flight. It's just the people in the airlines I could do without. So sure enough, man, we fucking land. Bing, bong. Everybody stands up. They're clamoring for their bullshit. I'm like, oh, whatever the fuck. So they're making their way into the aisles and everybody's sneaking off and they're trying to get the fuck off. And you just wait your turn, right? But there are people from behind me. They're sneaking up and awful. So finally comes the green light for me to get out. And I try to make it as quickly and painless for people, quickly for me and painless for people as possible. So I jump out and there's my bags. Now I have a bunch of straps. I want to throw a bag over my shoulder and then my laptop over my neck, but I just grab my shit and get off the fucking plane and I carry it down the gangway and I figure I'll compose myself when I get to the front, into the actual airport. Because right now I'm just human cholesterol, just fucking jamming the whole joint up. So I start walking, I get off the plane, thank them. I never know why I do, but I do. I zip up. I do. I always say thanks. Why? They didn't do anything, but they did. I'm just being nice. I'm a polite man. Calm the fuck down. I'm a polite man. Who's waving his dick in everybody's face at the airport. So I walk off. I go up the gangway, and there's twists and turns. I get into the actual airport, and the thing is, you have to find a counter to put your stuff down, and I'm disheveled. I got water in one hand. I got 2 bags in the other. I'm trying to get composed. So I walk through, and there's no counter space. I'm like, fuck. So I make a beeline, and I look. The only thing I can see is there's a C's Candies kiosk, but it's covered in candy, and I don't put my bags on it because then inevitably I'll wind up knocking shit on the floor and infuriate the candy people. I don't want to make them mad. But then I see a shoe sign stand. And I make a beeline over there. There's nobody getting a shoe shine. There's just chairs and foot lifts and foot rests. And so I put my stuff down. And as I'm there, I'm like composing myself. I got my shirt squared away. I get my phone. I turn that on. I put it in my pocket. I set my earbuds up. And the guy comes over, the shoe shine guy, and he's an Asian guy. And I know it seems like I'm picking on the Asians, but this is who they are. This is true. It's an Asian dude. So he comes over and he's like, "Oh, shoe shine for you." And I go, "No, I'm wearing sneakers. Like I didn't want to be mean about it." But I go, "No, just gather my stuff." And he goes, "Oh, well, you go. I need chairs for people who need shoe shine." And I go, "Yes, I get that. I'm just getting my stuff together." So he's like, "All right, well, he's looking at me like, you go." And I'm like, "Calm down, John Panette." So I grab my stuff. I put my fucking phone away, and I grab my water because I had a water on the plane. I put it in my bag. I throw my shoulder bag over, and then I throw over my computer bag, and I walk off, and I go looking for the restroom. So I go into the restroom, and I find the urinal, and I got my stuff hanging on my shoulder. You know what I mean? And heavy bags, but who cares? I have 2 hands. I'm multi-talented. So I wash my hands, and as I walk out of the restroom, and my bags are hanging over my right shoulder, and they're banging into my thigh. And that happens sometimes when you're walking, and you're at a quick pace, you're trying to get moving, and stuff will shift. But it bangs hard into my thigh, and I'm like, that's weird. Like, my bag seems heavy. But I didn't care. I kept walking, and it bangs into my thigh, bangs into my thigh. And like the fifth time it does it, like my fifth step, I go, Jesus, why is this happening? So I looked down at my bag. My bag is fine. And I got my computer bag. It seems fine. And so I shift my shoulder. And as I throw my shoulder, I see silver, like a glint of metal. And my bag is black. My computer bag is black. The zippers are black even. There's no silver on my bag. So I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I hike the bags up again, and I shift my body again, and I see a crowbar, like a fucking silver crowbar swings into view. And I just walked out of the bathroom, and it's a lever. That looks, you always have that running joke where a guy walks out of the bathroom, he's got toilet paper stuck to his shoe. I decided to bring the entire fucking urinal with me when I left the bathroom. Bless you. This is it's like a toilet handle, like it's hanging, and it's long. It's about 18 inches long, and it's hanging off of my bag. And I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? So I shift my weight again, and it comes into view, and it's like a pendulum now. It's kind of rocking back and forth, and I reach down, and I got to grab it, and I pick it up, and it's heavy. It's like 3 pounds, and it's solid metal. And it's a bar, but it's got a weird shape to it, and I can't figure out what it is. And I look, and I hold it up, and I'm like, is this the urinal thing? It's got to be for the toilet. And then as I hold it up, I look, it's flat on one end, and it's got a bar on the other end. It's one of the footrests from the fucking shoe shine stand. When I gathered up my bags, it got scooped up into my stuff with the straps, and it's hanging off. So I walked into the bathroom with it, it's hanging there. I walked out, I walk up to the... And I'm like, oh, fuck me. So I turn around and I go walking back to the shoe shine joint. And I come around, and as I come into view, I look, and there's Captain Asia, and he's got 4 policemen with him. And I'm walking up, and the funny thing is I'm walking up holding this bar in my hand. Like I look, and again, I got a hoodie on, earbuds on, and I'm carrying it like a fucking club. And I walk up, and he's talking to these 4 security guards, and I got one earbud in because I got the other one out to try to listen. And he turns around, and he looks, and he goes, "That him, that him, that him." And I come walking up. And the security guards are like, what are you doing? And I said, nothing. This got caught in my luggage. And he goes, oh, you take when you leave. And I go, I didn't mean to take it, dude. Here you go. Why would I bring it back if I took it? And he goes to the security guys. He goes, oh, he took it from me. He took it. And then they go, well, you got it back or whatever. And I go, I just hand it to him, and I don't even get involved. I leave. I don't even fucking, because you know what? In an airport, do not stop and talk to the authorities. If there's some sort of dust up happen, keep fucking walking. And I did. I handed it to him, and he goes, you take. And I didn't take. Here, enjoy. And I turn around and leave. And so he starts talking to security, and security's trying to calm him down. They want nothing. They don't bother me at all. And I just leave. I get the fuck out of there. So I've been in San Francisco for 6 minutes, and I've already committed a theft and been involved with 4 police officers. And all the goodwill I had with the Asian guy at LAX, I just burned with this Asian guy. I'm back on equal footing with the Asians. Earlier, everything was great. I was their hero. But sure enough, you steal 1 footrest from an Asian shoe shine guy, and you're back on a level playing field. Everything changes. So I make my way out of the airport. I got to go rent a car, and I go down. I'm at Hertz, and I'm in line, and I get who calls me? The Asian dude. And I go, this is an opportunity for me to balance the scales again. Now I can be the hero again. So I go to the front, and he's very nice, and he sells me the insurance, everything. Like I said, it's about $130. We square away, and then he's like, we have all these different cars, and we got Ford for you. And he goes, you know what? He goes, do you want to bump up to a midsize? It's $10 more a day or whatever, full size. I go, no, I'm good, whatever we got. And he goes, all right. He goes, you know what? I'm going to give you a bigger car anyway. He goes, I'm going to give you a Nissan Sentra. And Asian car. Haha. Look at that, folks. See, I came in. I obviously did something right with that guy. He had gotten word from the other Asian at LAX, and everything was fine. Word had not filtered down from the Asian shoe shine guy yet. I was still in good stead. So he gives me their best Asian vehicle. Because they were out of rickshaws. So he's like, hey, take this fucking Nissan. I said, fantastic. So I get the Sentra, and he goes, oh, do you need GPS? I go, not really. He goes, that's okay. It's in there. I've given you GPS. I said, great. So I grab my stuff. I head out to the car, go out and get in the Nissan. It's got the GPS. So I immediately plug in the address of my hotel, and it says searching for satellite. And I drive out, and I give the guy, and when you leave, it hurts again. The same thing. When I went to the counter, they're like, they took my license, they get your ID, they square everything away. Fine, I grab that. And then I go out to leave, and they go, okay, we need your license, and we need it out. So I have to give them my license, which is fine. I have to give them my proof of that I'm flying, that you're returning, because I'm paying with my business debit card, whatever. And the thing is, I have my hoodie on, so I have a little pouch in my hoodie, and so I'm like a kangaroo. Like when I travel, I'm a kangaroo, because I keep everything in my pouch, and I can just reach in there, and it's like, yay. So that's fine. So I leave there, and I'm driving, and I have my phone, which is my phone is my GPS, basically. So I'm using that because this GPS is still searching for satellite. And I start driving, and the airport was about, I think it was like 14 miles from my hotel. So I start driving, everything's fine. I'm rolling down to the hotel, and I get to the Holiday Inn on Van Ness, and I go to check in. I have to pull in. It's on this, it has a cubby hole out front. There's no parking lot. There's a garage, but I don't need to go in there yet. I got to check in. So I pull up, walk inside, I wait in line, and I get to the front of and the guy who calls me is Jimmy. He's got his name tag on right there, Jimmy. And Jimmy is Indian. So he's like, oh, hello, how are you, man? I don't know why I'm doing the voice. Why? Again, get off the tightrope of racism, go back. The wind is far, especially with the Indians. You do not want to take that chance. So sure enough, Jimmy's he's an Indian person, and he may have been Pakistani. I don't know, but I'm saying he's got that accent. So I get to the front, and he's like, "How are you?" I says, "Fine." And he goes, "All right, we got to check you in. Great. I'm here for 2 nights. Good. Price line paid. Good. Square." And he goes, "All right, I need your driver's license, and I need your credit card for incidentals." And I have to do this dance all the time where I have to give them a credit card for incidentals, but I go, "But don't put the charges on there. When I leave, I will pay with a different card." He says, "Fine." And I open my wallet to show him my license. He goes, "Sir, I need it out." I said, all right. So I pull my license out and I hand it to him. And he says, so are you driving? And I said, yes. He goes, so you need to park? I said, yeah. He goes, okay. Sir, I am very sorry. 2 nights you are staying, it's going to be $88 for parking.
What?
And I go, you are fucking joking. And he goes, no, sir, that is why I said I was sorry. I wanted to make sure you know it is not me who makes the policy. It is the Holiday Inn. And we want to tell you that I just tell you right away because I knew you would be sorry. I go, $88 fucking dollars, Jimmy? And, which by the way, he's like, why are you using my name? But $88 fucking dollars, Jimmy? Are you serious? That's ridiculous. He goes, I know it is 43 plus, it is 38 plus tax for both days. It comes out to 88 or it was 86, 84 or whatever. And I'm like, dude, that's fucking wrong. That's wrong. He goes, I know it is, and I just had a big fight. The person before you, he did not want to pay, but I tell him if he wants to park, it was what I had to do, and so I knew it would be a problem, so I say I'm sorry to you, and I go, all right, Jimmy, I get it. I go, look, I'm not mad at you. You get that, right, Jimmy? He goes, I understand, but it's policy. I go, I understand it's policy, but you recognize this is fucking ridiculous, right, Jimmy? I mean, I'm paying you $88 fucking dollars for air. You get that? And he goes, yes, sir, I understand. I'm very sorry. And I go, fuck, fine. I go, you won't charge me, right? I'll just, when I leave, I can pay it with my incidentals card. He's like, yes, it'll go on. It's fine. But when you go, it's terrific. But I will print you a parking ticket if that's, I go, yes, I need to do it. That's fine. I go, I can't park on the street, right? He goes, no, there's no parking on the street. Probably. You probably can't find. I go, fine. So that's $300 for the flight. And then of course the $130 for the rental car itself, and now $88 to park. Now I would have had to pay the $88 to park if I had driven anyway. Okay. But it certainly would have made me double clutch a little bit when I thought about the fucking rental car and the flight charge. And again, who the fuck am I kidding? I would have fallen asleep and died if I would have driven. I guarantee it. So I guess it's my own fault. It's my own fucking fault. But still, $88 fucking dollars for air? Are you shitting me? Furious. But I had to pay it. And he gives me the parking ticket. He goes, now make sure you bring your parking ticket whenever you leave, because you have to use it to get in and out of the garage. And it's your entry. And it's a paper ticket. It's flimsy. So I said, all right, that's fine. So I go outside. I'm fucking steaming. And I pull into the garage. I go ahead and I park the Sentra. And I walk in. And I get in the elevator for the room. And I'm on the 12th floor. And I push 12 and it won't light up. I'm like, I push 12, and then I realize, like all hotels now, you have to take your room key and slide it to prove that you're not a villain, and then you have to press your number, and it takes you to your room. So that's what I did. I pressed it. I go up to 12, and I go in, and I should say I get into the room. It's a great room. It's really nice. The view is really good. Definitely a 3-star hotel. Thank you, Priceline. You did not lie. And they had a bar, and they had a restaurant. They had 24-hour room service. So I was like, all right, I can live with this. It's fine. And again, I haven't slept. I slept like an hour on the plane, but that was it. So I get in, and I check in, and I'm sitting in the room. I set up my Wi-Fi. There was free Wi-Fi in the room, so I'm like, all right, well, normally that's $15 a day, or sometimes $10 a day. So I saved $30 there, whatever the fuck. Again, math. So get in the room. I unpack my shit. I'm like squared away, and I'm sitting there. And now I'm in San Francisco now, man. And it's the afternoon, and I didn't make any plans with anybody for Thursday. I did. Some people had contacted me about getting together. Our friend Amity, who listens to the show and she supports every month, and she's really cool. And I did not write her back. We had a little correspondence. She had asked me if I could give her a San Francisco shirt for her Kickstarter donation instead of one of the other cities. And I said, yeah, that's not a problem. And then she wrote me a couple notes saying, hey, has anybody claimed you for San Francisco yet? Well, I had been claimed for Thursday by Lou, but I hadn't confirmed anything with him. So I figured I would see Amity Saturday morning for breakfast, but I would talk to her Friday at the show in my head. I didn't write her back because, dudes, look, if you've written me, you'll hear from me. I swear to God. But it's like between my sleep thing and trying to square away Kickstarter and trying to get rewards squared away, my correspondence has fallen off a fucking cliff. So I did not write Amity back. So I'm in the room, and I open it up, and I'm figuring out, well, what am I going to do for Thursday? And then I contacted our friend Lily to get Lou's phone number because I didn't want to write him on Facebook because he had offered to go out on Thursday, and I hadn't really confirmed it. So I texted him. I said, hey, are we, I don't know if you're interested. Are we on? Because you offered in December. And here we are 8 weeks later, and I just wanted to make sure that you were still on for dinner. And he was very nice. He's like, yeah, man, where do you want to go? I'll figure out a great place. We'll figure something out. I said, all right, good. I'm cool with that. Whatever you want to find I'm in. Let's do this. And so I'm sitting in the hotel room, and he's texting me back and forth. He's like, all right, well, I said, I'm a snob. I said, I'm a food snob. You know that. So I need to go to a cool place. And he's like, oh, man, he panicked. He even told me later, he goes, you panicked me. He goes, when you said you were a food snob. So I was going to bring you to the House of Prime Rib. And I'm like, he actually said to me, you want to go for Prime Rib? And I go, because when I hear prime rib, I immediately think of Vegas. Like, I mean, everybody does fucking prime rib, and it's a catcher's mitt with a fucking shot glass of jus. No, fuck that. I don't want prime rib, all right? I want real food. But, of course, I'm not going to say that to the guy who's graciously offering to take me to dinner. So I'm just like, I go, prime rib? And he goes, I didn't think so. I'll take a look for something else. So he tells me we've got a reservation at a restaurant called Boulevard at 8:30. I said, that's fine. I'm in the room, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And I'm like, should I go to sleep? Nah, I'm not tired enough to go to sleep. That's not going to happen. I'm going to stay awake. Should I go out walking around? I do like walking around in the city, but I wasn't really in a walking area. I didn't think it was like when we were in the Tenderloin, that was a walking area. I drove up, it didn't seem like a walking area. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do. And I go, you know what? Fuck. Here's what I can do. Why don't I go to the store and get Propel? Because there's a fridge in my room. And usually I have, there's a fan who's always very nice. Someone in a city will say to me, hey, I'll pick you up Propel. I'll bring whatever you need to the show. But I'm in town a day early, and I got some time, so I figure, why don't I do that? And then part of me goes, hey, it's only 4 o'clock. He's picking you up for dinner at 8:30. Why don't you go to an adult bookstore? Because it's the afternoon, and it's not crazy. So you could go to that and kill some time doing something like that because, you're on the road, and why not? And then the other part of me went, dude, why don't you go to the store and get Propel instead? And then part of me is like, wait a minute, why don't I do both? I said, well, all right, go get the Propel first and then see how much time you have. So I Google grocery stores for the area where I'm at, and it's San Francisco. So, of course, I'm getting hippie granola winery and grocery, like all that bullshit that's close to the hotel within walking distance. So then I say, all right, I Google Ralph's, and there's no Ralph's in San Francisco. So then I just Google major grocery store, and I find Safeway. So, and I'm a fan of Safeway. Why not? I used to shop there when I was in Tahoe. It was my grocery store of choice. So, and I'm sure they'll remember me. Be like old home week. I'll walk in. Oh, Mike, you're back. It's only been 20 years. Fuck. dude, I completely forgot. I forgot something that happened. All right. I want to shove it in. I want to go. I can't. We can't. I've talked a million hours. Fuck. All right. I just trust me. There's a reason I have to tell you this. All right. So I let's go back, folks. Take a journey with me. Let's all go back. Before I talked to Lou, before I texted him, before I thought about anything, before I did any of that, before I was even in my room. Let's go back to me talking to Jimmy and being furious about fucking parking for $86 for 2 nights. So he gave me my parking ticket and stuff, and that was great. And then I left, and I went and I parked my Sentra, and I got out, and I got in my, I remember I told you, I got in the elevator, and I pressed 12, and it did nothing. Okay, and then I realized I had to swipe my key. So I swiped my key and I did all that. And I got upstairs and I dragged my bag in. And I got in and I started to set up my computer. And I was going to text Lily to find out about Lou. And I realized I forgot my phone. I forgot my phone in the car. So I went downstairs and I get in the elevator. In the elevator, you don't have to swipe your key to go down, only to go up. So I go down to the lobby and I go out to the car. And I get to the door for the garage, and I go to open it, and it's locked. And I have to swipe my auto ticket key, my back and forth with the thing. And I grab my wallet, and that key is upstairs in my room, the auto parking ticket. So I'm like, fuck. So I walk out, and I go to the desk, and I go, hey, Jimmy. And he goes, oh, hello, sir. Can I help you? I said, yeah, you know what? I left my my parking lot key upstairs. Can you give me a replacement that I'll give you right when I walk back in? And he goes, oh, absolutely. There's no problem. I'll get you a second one, but you have to promise to give it to me when you walk in if you have the other one upstairs. I go, yeah, it's fine. He goes, okay, I need to see your driver's license. I go, Jimmy, I'm in 12. I was just here. I was the guy who yelled fuck 1,000 times because I had to pay you $86. He goes, I know, sir, but it is policy. I'm very sorry, but I need to see your driver's license. I go, so I get my wallet and I keep my driver's license in a clear plastic panel. Like I said, I'm a G-Man. I can flip it out. Flip, there you go. So I open my wallet and I hand it to him and he goes, sir, I need it out. Fuck. Again, they needed it out. It hurts. You need it out at the fucking airport. But again, I got my kangaroo pouch. It's fine, but fuck. So I pull it out and I hand it to him and he pushes some buttons and he runs another parking ticket for me. I go out, I get my phone. I come back in and I hand him the parking ticket. I get in the room, the hotel. I slide the key. I go upstairs. Text, find Lou. Dinner, adult bookstore consideration. I got the scales of justice out. Do I want to go to Safeway? Do I want to go to the old bookstore? And it dawns on me, fuck it, just go to Safeway first and then see what happens. So I figured out it's a mile and a half. So I go downstairs. I go to get in my car. I got my ticket. It's fine. I slide it. I get in. And I get in the Sentra, I pull out, and I got to go up and then take a left and a left. It's easy. And I even put it in the GPS, which was still searching for satellite from the airport, but I didn't care. I just wanted to have it as a backup. We're fine. We're rolling. And as I'm driving, I come along and I see the Safeway in the distance, and I'm like, finally. So I park. Why finally, by the way? It was a mile and a half. So I drive and I park, and I go into the Safeway. And like I said, they were very happy to see me. And I start walking through and I go look for Propel and they had Propel. It was on sale. They had it 88 cents for the big 20 bottles, the 24-ounce bottles that I like. And then they had 6 packs of 16-ounce bottles for $2 for $5. So I sat down and I was like, all right, well, let's see. That's $35 an ounce for one and $38 an ounce for the. I did the math, folks. I don't lie. I do the math when I go on the road. This is why I run into so many Asians. So I'm doing the math and I'm figuring it out. And I go, you know what? I'm going to get the 6 packs. So I decide that I'm going to grab 4 6-packs because I'm there for 2 days. God knows how much Propel I plan on drinking. So I grab those. I grab some bananas. I throw them in the cart, and I go to leave. And it's not that busy. It's a grocery store. It's kind of hustling and bustling, but there's nobody in the line. So I pull up to the line, and there's a checker. It's a young man named Lance. I go, hey, Lance. And he's like, hey, sir. I go, dude, I need a favor. And he goes, what is it? I go, I don't live here. I'm not from here. Can you hook me up with a little boom boom with the Safeway card? He goes, what does that mean? And I said, can you hook me up with a Safeway card for the discount? And he goes, oh yeah, I can get you a Safeway card. That's no problem. And he starts scanning my Propels and he scans the bananas and he's okay. So you want a Safeway card? And I go, no, I want you to run yours to just give me the discount and then I'll leave. I go, I don't need a Safeway card, Lance. I don't live here. And he goes, oh, well, it takes like a minute. It takes 5 minutes to get you a card. It won't be a problem. I can go ahead and get you a card right now. I go, Lance, I'm leaving. And part of me wants to go, you're cutting into my adult bookstore time, but I didn't. I said, no, Lance, I'm good. Really, I don't live here. I'm in town for business for 2 days. I don't need a Safeway card. There's no Safeways where I live. You can just go ahead and if you can just run your card and give me a discount. He goes, okay, and he does that, and it takes off the price, and he goes, all right, it's whatever the fuck it was, $12. So I don't know, because I bought for $6, to carry the 2. I was like $18. I give him my fucking thing. I run it, and he goes, are you sure you don't want a Safeway card? I go, I do not need a Safeway card. I'm fine. He goes, come on. He goes, it's really easy. It takes 5 minutes. You just get this information, then you get savings. And I don't, Lance, I'm good. I don't need the card. He goes, you know what? It actually looks really good for me if you fill out the thing. If you can just get a card, we get a thing. So it would look really good for me if you filled it out. And James was my bagger. James was Asian. And he goes, yes, it's very nice. And it's good. It's good to have the card and get your savings. So make Lance look good. I go, all right. Fine. Fine. He goes, it takes 1 minute. I go, fine. That's good. He goes, okay, I'll be right back. And he leaves. So now I'm standing there, and I ran my card, but he didn't punch it through. So it's like the register, I'm waiting for my receipt and all that, and he bails. He walks to the service desk. So I'm standing there, and then James and I are having awkward small talk, and he's like, oh, you really Propel? Yes, I really like Propel. I also really like bananas. What the fuck? So Lance comes back with a fucking pamphlet. And he folds it out. And I go, oh, Lance, I can't fill all this out. He goes, you don't have to fill it out. It's no problem. He goes, you just fill out your name and your email address. And then the rest of it, I'll take care of. I went, all right. And then now people are in line. And they're getting in line and they see me. I got a pen and I got homework. I got fucking homework. And they just want to go home and eat their mushrooms. What the fuck? And I'm like, I go, Lance, do I have to do this here? Can't I do it at the service desk? He goes, oh, it's no problem. He goes, just, come around the side here and fill it out next to me. And I went, okay. I go, well, then you'll be able to help them. He goes, why? No, I'm going to wait till you're finished and then we'll do this. I went, fine. He goes, you know what? All you got to do is show me your driver's license and then fill out your name and your email address and we're square. He goes, I just have to prove that I saw your address. I go, all right. So I give him I take my wallet out and I hold it open. And he goes, sir, I need your license out. I go, Lance, seriously? He goes, yeah. He goes, because I have to verify the address and I got to run the strip here on the register. And I go, fine. So I pull out my license, I hand it to him, and I start filling out the form. I got to fill in my name and I got to fill in my email address. And then James is like, oh, it's a good move. You're really smart to get this card. I'm like, yes, James, the hard sell is over. I'm spilling ink as we speak. And I'm doing that. People are in line. They're grumpy and fuming. And I'm in a hurry. I just want to get the fuck out of there. Because, again, I got to try to get an hour in the adult bookstore before I got to go to have dinner. So I'm there and I'm talking to James, I'm talking to Lance, and Lance is doing his thing and he's running the register, and then he gets the receipt out and I'm filling out the pamphlet. I go, where does this go? Does it go to the service desk? He goes, no, you can give it to me. So I hand it to him and I'm talking to James. I grab my bag and then Lance hands me my stuff and I take my license. I put it back in my wallet. I grab my receipt. I start to fold it up because I have a fetish about my receipt. I can't put my receipt in the bag. Any grocery store I go, I have to have it in my wallet and it has to be neatly folded. So I take my receipt and I'm folding it and fold it into eighths, and then I put it into my wallet and I put my wallet away and I say thanks to James. I say thanks to Lance. I walk the fuck out. I'm like, God damn it. Get me out of this Safeway. So I walk out the door as I'm right by I go and I walk right out of the and this is the truth. I swear to God, this is true. I walk out of Safeway and on the right, there's where they get all the carts. Okay. Well, there's all the carts are there. And then directly in front of the door, I would say about 5 steps from the entrance, but right there, there's 2 guys making out. And like, look, I get it. It's San Francisco. That's fine. That's what we're all doing. Everybody's living the summer of love and we're having a great time with one another. But right in front of the fucking Safeway, are you shitting me? 5 steps from the door. And they're not like, hey, honey, how are you? And it's a little kiss hello. They are making out like I thought a war was over. I mean, they are I'm waiting for a guy to take a photo and it's going to be splashed on Life magazine. These 2 are fucking going at it. Hands in back pockets, 6th grade style, and just fucking making out and like grinding. I'm like, what the fuck? And because it's just, again, I don't give a shit that it's guys. If it was girls, if it was a guy and a girl, if it was dogs or horses, I don't give I would stare because it's like, really? 5 steps in front of the fucking store, you're going to just camp out and fuck? Weird. So I got my bags and I'm walking. I got my receipt folded. Everything's put away. And I walk out and I see those dudes and it takes me, I'm not going to lie. I stopped and I looked like, really? And I looked at them. And as I'm looking at them, one of them, the white one, it's a white guy and a black guy. The white guy opens his eyes and sees me. And he disengages from his fucking death lock with his boyfriend. And he leans back and he goes, what the fuck are you looking at? And, my first instinct immediately is hit him. I'm not going to lie to you, because it was like he was coming on like a stiff prick. Like he wasn't even fucking around. He was threatening me. Like he was angry mad. And obviously because he thought that I was weirded out that a gay couple was making out. But it's like, dude, you're in San Francisco. You got the job. Why the fuck are your hackles up? Why is your radar up looking for anything at this point? You guys are this is your home court. I'm the visiting fucking team. You don't have to fucking sweat me at all. What the fuck do you care? But and part of me is just like, I wanted to go, because you're fucking tongue deep, not your uvula deep in this fucking guy in the middle of a fucking grocery store. But he looks at me, he's like, what the fuck are you looking at? And like I said, my first instinct is hit him. And then I want to argue with him. But then part of me, like my brain flashes to where I go, dude, you can't hit a gay guy in San Francisco. That's got to be like 10 hate crimes rolled into one. That's like going to Oz and punching a midget in the face. You're going to get taken down and you're going to get fucked. I mean, it's going to be bad. So I'm like, I can't, and so I panic. Like, he's like, what the fuck are you looking at? He kind of squares up on me and he gets big, and I'm holding my fucking bag of Propel and bananas, and I'm staring at him, and I just go, nothing. Like, I kind of double clutched, and I looked at the ground, and I started, like, I scurried off. I did like a mouse. I scurried off to my fucking car. Because again, I don't want to fight anybody anymore anyway, and I try not to be mean, but the second a guy fucking mean mugs me with, what the fuck are you looking at? I don't give a shit if he's got a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a son, or a pet. He's going to get jacked. But in this instance, I throttled it down. I went, nothing. Like 3 nothings. And I scurried. I actually scurried to my car. And as I walked, I heard him. He goes, yeah, you better fucking run. And I'm like, and now in my head, I'm like, kill this fucking guy. But instead I continued to scurry. And then I heard his boyfriend, and his boyfriend goes, I gotta do it. I'm sorry. I'm not good with accents, as you've heard already. But this is what he said. Come on, Randy. And he put his arms around him and he took him into the Safeway. But it was so great. It's like, come on, Randy. And they went into the Safeway, proud, out and proud. And they spray painted rainbow graffiti all over their fucking Safeway. I get literally the meanest gay guy in San Francisco I get accosted by. The head of Act Up screams at me as I'm trying to carry my bananas at the car. So after that, I'm far too shaken up to go to an adult bookstore. I don't have it in me at all. So I get in the car. And I throw in my groceries. I'm weirded out. I put in my address again to go back, and I got my phone out, and I back out. I drive to Centra, and I make a bunch of rights and lefts. And now I was in there, and I think it's like 6:30 at this point. So I hustle back to the Holiday Inn, and I go in. It's on Van Ness, and I pull in, and I got to park on the 3rd floor, and I grab my stuff, and I roll in. And I go in, and I get in the elevator, and I push the button from the parking garage, and it doesn't go up. And so I push the elevator again, and it won't go up. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why is this not going up? It's not going up because, stupid, you need to swipe your room key and go upstairs. So I go, oh, the fuck. So I grab my wallet, and I pull it out, and I reach in, and I don't have my room key because it has the Wi-Fi code on it. So it's upstairs on the table in my room next to my computer. And I reached through all my pockets thinking maybe I'd somehow jammed it in there, and I did not. So I lose my mind. I go out, and I've got groceries. And I have to go back to the parking lot, and I have to walk up the parking lot because there's no like stairs or door. I have to walk up level, from 3 down to 2, down to 1, and I go in the front. And I'm walking like a fucking bag lady, again, scurrying. I have spent most of my night Thursday scurrying. So I scurry through the parking lot. I get to the front and I go inside. And the funniest thing, there's a doorman. Like there's a doorman at this Holiday Inn. And he's about 6'4", and he's wearing the jacket with the epaulets. Like he looks like Captain EO. What the fuck? So I walk in and I got my bag of groceries. And I have to get a key to go upstairs. When I walk in, there's like probably 6 people waiting to check in. And I go to the front and I go, I just have to get a key made. And the guy behind the counter says, sir, you'll have to wait in line and then we'll take care of you. And it's Jimmy and a woman and then this guy. And they're checking people in. And I look at Jimmy and I go, Jimmy? And he goes, I'll be with you in a minute, sir. Fuck. So I got to get in line. So I take my groceries and I put them up on the podium that was there in the lobby. And I'm waiting in line. And the doorman comes walking in, and it was I can't do it. It was funnier on stage, but you would have to see it. He walks through. He saw me carrying the groceries. He sees me walk because he gave me the eye. Held the door. I walk in. I put the groceries up. He hustles past me, and he stops by the groceries. And I can't. You won't. It doesn't even. Why am I even bringing it up? But he looked in the bag. But he did it. He did it like he didn't ask what's in the bag. He did it sneaky, like it was a bomb. Because he like walks over and he kind of gets on his tiptoes and like and looks inside, and then he hustles off and walks off when he saw it was just bananas. So he keeps walking. I'm in line. They check people in, and I'm waiting to get Jimmy because Jimmy knows me. Jimmy and I are bonding. We're friends. But instead, I don't get Jimmy. I get the woman who looks like olive oil. So I get to the front, and I said, "Hey, I'm really sorry." I go, I forgot my key. So can I get a key for my room? She goes, well, where'd you forget your key? I said, I forgot my key upstairs. It's in the room, you know. She goes, well, you came in the front door. I said, yes, because I tried to go up at the elevator and it wouldn't let me go. And she, oh, yeah, that's right. You need the key for the elevator. Okay, no problem. Well, what's your name? And I said, Mike Schmidt. She goes, what room are you in? I said, 1202. She goes, okay. And Jimmy stands up because he was putting something. He's like loading his printer, and he looks up and I go, hey, Jimmy. And he's like, hello, sir. So she's helping me, and she goes, what's your name again? I said, Mike Schmidt. She goes, And she walks away, and she picks up like a manila envelope. She looks at it, she makes a face, and she walks back to the computer. She looks back at the computer. She goes, this is strange. I said, why? She goes, you're not Peter Schmidt? I said, no, I'm Mike Schmidt. She goes, it's just strange that there's a Peter Schmidt also on the 12th floor very close to your room. And I have a package for him. I said, yeah, that's pretty strange. And I said, did you want me to bring it to him? And she was like, no. It just seems odd. That just seems like a weird coincidence. And I said, yeah. I said, I just need a key and I'll be out of your hair. She goes, okay. I need your driver's license. So, I go, all right. So I open my wallet and I hold it. And she goes, sir, I need it out. So I reach over and I open my wallet and I look, and there's a clear plastic panel, and that's where I keep my driver's license. And right there is my Safeway Club card. And I pull that out, and there's no driver's license behind it. And then I look through my wallet with my receipt. There's no driver's license. I look in all my pockets. No driver's license. And I said to the woman, I go, hey, I don't have my driver's license. I said, I have a bunch of credit cards and stuff with my name, and I have I have the parking gate key. Does that help you at all? And she goes, oh, you don't have your driver's license? I go, no. You can talk to Jimmy. I checked in with him 9 times. Is that going to be a problem? Or? And she says, sir, I'd really rather have your driver's license. And I go, Jimmy, can you vouch for me, please? And he walks over and he's like, oh, I've helped him several times. He's definitely staying in the hotel. And she says, all right, well, you really should give us a license. I go, well, look, I have keys in the room. If you want to walk me to the room, have the doorman, anybody, I just need to get upstairs. And she says, that's fine. So she gives me a key. I get in the elevator. I go up to my room, and I immediately call the Safeway. And I get whoever the fucking manager is on the phone. I go, hey, I need to talk to a general manager, whoever runs the show over there. They get on the phone. And I said, hey, look, I was just there, and I was at Lance's terminal. And Lance and James were the guy. James was the bagger, and Lance was the checker. And I had to fill out a thing for your Safeway card, and I think I left my driver's license there. And they go, oh, well, nobody turned it in here at the desk. I go, I understand that, but literally we're like 40 minutes away. It's not even that far. Can you go over to their terminal and check or see whatever and she goes, well, all right, hold on. And she puts me on hold. And I was on hold for like 6 minutes. And then she comes back and says, no driver's license here. I go, did you look in his drawer or in the garbage or anywhere? She goes, no, Lance, he has no driver's license. He remembers you. He's pretty sure he gave it back to you. I said, he did not, because I put everything he gave me into my wallet. I have a Safeway card where my license should be. And she goes, well, he doesn't have a license over there. And so then I'm like, well, is it in the rental car? I mean, maybe it's in the fucking rental car. Because I was scurrying. I was scurrying from evil gay guys. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened. And then I'm like, did I drop it in the lot? Like, I don't know. Because I was holding all my stuff. I had receipts in hand. I was trying to fold it, and I had stuff under my arm. I mean, I don't know where it could be. So then I'm like, well, you know what? I'll check the car. So I get in the elevator. I go down and I check the car. It's not in the car. I rifle through the entire fucking car. There's no license. And it's not at Safeway. It's not there. I tell the hotel lost and found in case somehow I dropped it, making the schlep down the fucking 9 parking lots. And they said, no problem, we'll keep an eye out for it. But I had no license. I lost my driver's license. And I have no idea. I'm like, am I going to find it? Because then I got to fucking fly. I have to fly back. I don't go to the fucking airport without a driver's license. So I go back to my room and I wait to go to dinner with Lou. And he picks me up and I go to dinner. It was amazing. Lou and his wife Gina bring me to Boulevard, which is fucking great. And I know it's that same thing where you start calling your shot, where I start ordering appetizers, and we got like scallops with garlic broccolini and fucking foie gras with a maple pecan brittle and a Dungeness crab salad with hearts of palm and blood orange segments. And dude, oh god damn, it was awesome. It was awesome. I wish I had had my driver's license because I would have cut the dinner into small lines and snorted it. That's how fucking good it was. So they were gracious, and this Boulevard was it was a really nice restaurant. It was fucking hopping, crazy busy, great view of the Bay Bridge, and it was really nice to hang out with Lou and Gina. And then of course the check comes and fucking Lou grabs it. I'm like, dude, no, this is on me. And he's like, what are you talking about? Ridiculous. I'm taking, it's my town. I'm bringing you to dinner. Furious. I ordered a pineapple cake with fucking pineapple ice cream, and I just started calling food. And oh, dude, you know what I ordered? I had a big pork chop. And it came with beet and sweet potato logs or whatever the fuck, like square. They're not logs, they're square. And then I ordered off the board, because I did this in New York too. When I saw sides that looked good with a main, I said, hey, can I just get the sides for that? And they said, what do you want? I said, they had carrot two ways. They had rainbow carrots, and then they had carrot spätzle. And I go, dude, carrot spätzle, I have to have, and the rainbow carrots. And he comes back, he goes, chef says no rainbow carrots, but we can do the spätzle. I said, done. Because it was a carrot spätzle with fucking onions and prosciutto, like bacon. And so they brought the food, and look, my pork chop was good, and the appetizers were great. And Lou had like a lamb T-bone, which I didn't try, and Gina had an abalone starter for her main. And the thing is, we shared all the appetizers, and then the mains came, and they were offering me some of their food, and I wouldn't eat it. Because I'm not going to eat somebody else's entree, because I don't know Lou. I mean, that just seems like really intimate to spear his lamb. I mean, it just seemed odd. So I don't want to share entrees. Like, I'll share desserts and appetizers, but entrees, that's like I got to know you more to share your entree. But I will say, I offered them my entree, and they were like, they had no qualms about it at all. They're like, yes. So they tried the pork, which was good. But then the spätzle came. Holy Jesus God, dude. It was the best. It was the best thing ever, because it was like, had the sweet carrot, and then it was like savory, and it had the crispy, the salty bacon. Oh my dude, carrot spätzle. If I was them, I would change the name of the restaurant to Carrot Spätzle and a bunch of other shit. Like I mean, because all the food was good, the dessert was amazing, everything was great, but that carrot spätzle, holy God, spätzle, I don't fucking know. It's so good. I'm putting the H in there. It's spätzle. Oh, dude, the CH. It's German. Yeah, goddamn, it was good. So we hung out till like, I think it was like 11:30 when I got home, and I went upstairs, and again, I still haven't slept. This is another reason why I probably lost my fucking driver's license, because I can't keep track of anything. I'm blurred vision. But that's okay. We get to the room, and I'm all fried up on sugar, and I just go and I sit down, and I start answering some emails, and then finally, at 4:00, I decided, you just go to bed, dude. It's 4:00. And, I made myself crash. And got up the next day at 11, and Friday was the study day. I had to do homework, because Friday's show day, and I don't eat on show day, and I don't do. I wanted a banana. You know what? It's funny. I wanted a banana, so I had bought them at Safeway. But they weren't ripe yet, so I wanted to try to find a ripe banana, because all they had were green. They were yellow with green tops, because I figured they'd be fine by the time, like maybe in a day or two, and I could choke them down. I only bought 4 bananas. I need potassiums. Potassium. There's no S in that, right? So I needed bananas. So I wanted to find a ripe one, but I didn't want to go back to Safeway, because I didn't want to have to, and just in case those 2 gay guys from Seinfeld were there to kick my ass. I don't want that to fucking happen. That's a reference, by the way, if anybody knows what that is. Remember the gay guys who are mean? All right. So who cares? But I didn't want it, literally, I just pictured pulling up to get a banana, and I'm sneaking in, and I get him, Randy. Like, I don't want that to fucking come echoing from the carts. So I go downstairs, and I go, hey man, is there a place to get a banana around here, to the counter guy? He goes, yeah. He goes, you know what? If you go like 3 blocks that way, there's a Walgreens. And then I go, dude, I'm not leaving the grounds of the hotel for a banana. All I want is one banana. Do you have a gift shop or something? He goes, oh yeah, there's a gift shop. They might have something in there. So I walked in, and they had of course, dude, it's a gift shop. So they have a pile of snacks. There's like these amazing It's all Oreos and bullshit and Werther's Originals, and I don't want any of that shit. I want fruit. I wanted fresh fruit, and they had a basket of lonely apples. They had no bananas, but they had those mealy looking, like brown spotted apples, and I go, fuck, I can't do that. I can't. So I just went upstairs and I choked down unripe apples, or unripe bananas. 2 of them. What the fuck? It's show day. So I sat in my room and I studied and I did my homework and I tried to figure it out. And then I was listing all this stuff that you guys have just heard. Trying to remember that. I'm like, all right, should I talk about that? I don't know. And then I got ready for the show and I was getting ready and I called the theater and I said, hey, where do I park? And she goes, oh my gosh, you know what? There's a lot right down the street. It's $10 all night. You can go ahead and park in there. I said, well, is there parking on the street? She goes, you're never going to find parking on the street. Just park in the lot. It's $10 and we're a block and a half away. But the reason I don't want to do that is because then I got to carry my bag of t-shirts and my bag with my material in it and like my bag of Propel. Like I got like a crazy well-dressed hobo as I walk down the fucking street. I don't want that. And then I'll be a little sweaty. I got to avoid any sort of sweating. I'm going to sweat on stage. I don't need to sweat on the way to the fucking gig. So Erin was very nice. She's like, go to this lot. It's right up the street. So I drove and the hotel was only like 2.5 miles from the theater. I get to the theater and I pull up to the lot. It's $15 for the night. I'm like, of course it is. Yeah. But when I was driving, there was a guy pulling out in front of the dark room. And I don't know what the parking rules are, but there's meters. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just pay the meter and come out and keep feeding it. So I go back, and by the time I get there, somebody's parking in that spot. And then another guy leaves and somebody takes that spot because I can't get around the other guy who's parking. And I'm like, fuck. So I go down to the end and I do a U-turn. And as I do a U-turn, I see a guy inch out directly across the street from the dark room. He's pulling out. And I go, fuck it. So I pull up and I get his spot. And I get out and I look at the meter. You stop paying at 6. And it's 6:15. And it's free parking all night. Haha, saved $15. So do the math. That worked out. It made up for everything. Well, not really, but it made up for something. So I go into the theater and there's Jim and Aaron and they're fucking amazing. They're really nice. They're hippies. And they come out and they say, hey, peace, man. And they throw flowers at me, which is always nice for them to do. And I check in and I go back in the green room and I'm waiting for the show and I'm in the back of the room and I'm waiting for the show to start. And I hear people start to come in and they start my music. And Jim and I do tech. And we run through the music cues, and he's really good at it. He nails them. He gets it right down. And so I'm looking around the room, and I say to him, I go, hey, I need to settle up with you. And he goes, oh, well, that's cool. And I go, well, how much is it? He goes, you got to talk to Aaron. I don't keep track of that. I go, well, here's the bad news. I left my checkbook in Los Angeles. So can I just pay you via the internet like I did with the deposit? Or would you rather I mailed you a check when I got back to L.A.? And he goes, well, man, I'd rather have the bread tonight. And I said, well, what is it? Really? He goes, yeah, man. He goes, I just rather have the bread tonight because I go to the bank on Saturday morning and it just, if you pay it on the internet, I'm not going to get it for 4 days. And if you mail it, I'm not going to get it for 4 or 5 days. It's just, I was kind of hoping to get this all squared away tonight. And I go, okay. I go, so I guess. He goes, there's an ATM right out front. I go, oh, was there a Bank of America around here? He goes, I don't know. It should be easy to find. And I have a B of A app on my phone that'll find one close. But I can't lose this parking spot. I can't fucking do that, right? So I go outside to the ATM, which is like this rickety ATM, and there's like a bat in it. I mean, it's all fucking old and haunted. And I don't even want to put my card in it because I know that it's going to go right to Yugoslavia, which doesn't even exist anymore. But that's how old this fucking machine is. My number's going to go right to Yugoslavia. I slid it and I could only get a certain amount. So I had to do 2 different transactions. And then the door was broken. So I had to jimmy it open and reach in with just 2 fingers to pull my money out. And then a pile of money was there. I'm like, wait a minute, that might be more than I got. So I thought maybe there was a windfall. But then with the fees, it was like a $4 fee to use the ATM plus whatever my bank is going to charge, which is probably another $3. So that's $7. I had to do it twice. Hey, that's $14. I might as well just park my car in the motherfucking garage. So much for parking on the street and saving. I should have gone and driven a fucking B of A. God damn it. Infuriating. So I get the money. I go in and I pay Jim. I go in the green room and I wait. And as I'm sitting there, I hear people dribbling in and people start talking. And I hear people out in the hallway and they're being very nice. And then I hear this guy and he starts talking about, he's so excited for the show. And I hear a couple and they start talking to him. And they're like, yeah. And he goes, where'd you guys drive from? They go, we drove all the way from Bakersfield. It's like 4.5 hours. And he's like, that's so amazing. He goes, I live in Ventura County. So, I mean, it wasn't that far from me the same way. And his name was Louie. He goes, I'm Louie. And he meets the people from Bakersfield who were very nice. And I believe it was Seth. Seth and Tracy, I think. And he meets them, and they're talking about the show and how much they love the show. And I'll be honest with you, I fucking needed to hear that because I was so nervous and freaked out about this show. And I was in the back room. It's funny, when I first did San Francisco in 2010, I sat in the back and I was so nervous about going out there. And I actually said to myself, I go, dude, why are you worried? These people love you. These people love you. There's no reason to be upset. And I actually said it over and over in my head. These people love you. These people love you. And I breathed. It was the weirdest thing. Like I didn't meditate, but I basically just kept saying over and over in my head, these people love you. These people love you, breathing in deep in the green room in 2010. And so I was nervous. And then to hear them out there talking about the show, I needed it. I really needed them to say that. So they're talking about how much they love the show and how far they drove. And then Louis goes, hey, he introduced himself as Louis. That's how I knew his name. And then he says, hey, I have a question. Do you guys know anybody else who listens to the show? And Bakersfield goes, no, we don't. We love it, and you know, we try to get other people. And then Louis goes, yeah, me neither, man. I mean, like, no, I don't know anybody who listens to it. And so I was fucking nervous, and then I heard them, and I was so happy, and it pulled me out of a funk, and I hear them start to talk about how nobody else listens to the fucking show. And in my head, I just go, these people love you, these people love you, these people love you, these people love you. Like, I'm brought back to 2010 and chanting again to fucking relax and breathe and tell myself that these people love you. And it's like, it was such a kick in the balls too, man. Just like, hey, do you guys know anyone in the world who likes this guy? No, I don't. I don't know anyone at all. To the point where I just said to myself, you know what? I should just change the name of the show to the Louis and Bakersfield Show. That's what I should call it. Because that's my target audience. Literally, these three people are the only people on earth who are listening to the fucking show. Holy shit. I was brutal. So I sat there and I just went, these people love you. These people love you. Tried to fucking snap out of it. Nervous, looking at my High School Musical notebook and thinking of other things to fucking talk about. And then finally, Jim, I had told him not to cut the music, and he pops his head in, and I said to him, you know, he's like, hey, we're going to go after this song. I said, fine. And then they, you know, he brought me up, and I walked out, and everybody was very nice. And the first thing I talked about, of course, was Louis and Bakersfield, because I had to mention how badly I had been kicked in the balls before the show started. And then we were off and fucking running, and everybody was great. Everybody was so fucking great. You guys, they laughed when they were early and often is what I put on Facebook, because they did. And once they did, it loosened me up, and I was able to do the show I wanted to do. And even, I'll tell you, the show is fluid, as I've mentioned, and I took a huge chunk of the show out from people who've seen it before. And I finished the show, and I still went 2 hours and 50 minutes. To almost 10 minutes away from 3 hours. And that was with a big chunk of the previous show removed. So I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I got to figure something out. But, and again, I was happy because everybody was with me, and they stuck with me throughout the entire, and everybody was so nice. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you came out. And then the show ended. I went in the back, and I dried my fucking head off. And I walked out front. I brought the T-shirts, and everybody was still out there waiting. And there were people who had pre-ordered shirts. Jeff and Jason. And first of all, I should tell you this. Before I started to set up the shirts, people approached me and they said, "Hey, we have some gifts for you. Like, we'd like to give you." And Jason and Lily and Toby came to the show. Now, this is the third time they've seen the One Man. They saw me at the first run in San Francisco. They made the trip from Irvine to see it. And then it just so happened Jason and Lily were on vacation in Denver when I was there, and they actually came to the show and saw it. And they're so nice, amazing people. And Toby had not seen me in Denver, so I actually held up a sign that said, "Hey, Toby," to say, and they took a picture of me. But what's funny is Toby and Jason have come and seen me do stand-up. They saw me at the M Bar, and they saw me bomb miserably. The last show I did at the M Bar, when I chewed it, I told you, Jason and Toby were walking away from me. They didn't even say goodbye to me. Like, they were in the parking lot just leaving. And I'm like, I wouldn't talk to me either. And they were like, no, it wasn't like that. But it was. It was definitely like that. So the three of them came in, and Lily's like, I brought you a gift. And she's got a box of, and I knew it was food. And I'm like, oh. And Lily is always putting on her Facebook page that she cooks. Like, she bakes all these cupcakes and stuff. And I go, did you bake? You didn't cook me something. And she goes, nope. I'm like, oh, brutal. And she goes, no, but I got you this. And I said, wait a minute, is it filth? It's going to be filthy, right? Because there was a sticker on it that said hot cookie. So immediately my mind went to like porno for some stupid reason. It's like, and it never before, like, it's not like I drive by Krispy Kreme and it says hot donuts now. And I'm like, those are tit donuts. I got to get in there immediately. Hey, give me 2 donuts shaped like a cock. Like, I mean, it's like, no, it's not. That's not what the hot means. But when it said hot cookie, I go, what is this, filth? Like, I was joking. And she goes, how did you know? I went, what? And she opens up the box and she goes, this is from a place called Hot Cookie in the Castro. And she opens it up and it's a female torso. Like, it's black with tits, and then it's got a vagina with coconut pubic hair. And I'm like, these people know me so fucking well. Food and porn. Like, literally, they combine food and porn in one box. There you go. That's me. That's me in that box. So I'm just like, oh my God. And she goes, are you going to eat it now? I said, no, I'll eat it later. I can't. I'm not going to. That's horrible. Yeah, exactly. Lick the coconut off. Terrible. So I got the hot cookie. I'm like, that's amazing. So then when I put it on Facebook, I said, I don't even know what part of my body to use first. So they gave me that gift, which was very nice. And then people started to line up. And it was funny. They, for some reason, made everybody go wait outside. And I'm like, why are you making people wait? So I went out to the front where people were. I said, you guys, it's too cold. You don't wait outside. Come inside the theater. It's fine. Ridiculous. I don't know who made you go outside, but come on in. So I made them all come back in. And then as I walked in, Seth approached me, and he had a gift that was wrapped. And he goes, I have a gift for you too. And I said, oh, I go, well, open it now or open it later? He goes, no, open it now. So I take the gift and I open up the wrapping paper, and it's, you know, those big Hershey's Kisses? Like those big giant ones. I open it up and that's what it is. It's got the box for big Hershey's Kisses, but it's like a baseball. It's shaped like a baseball. And I open it up. I'm like, dude, I go, how fat do you guys think I am? I go, giant cookie, Hershey's Kisses. You guys are going to kill me. And he goes, no, it's not. That's not what it is. That's just what the box is. I go, what? He goes, it's not a Hershey's Kiss. That's the box I use. Just open it up. And I open up the box, and it was a baseball. Like I said, it was shaped like a baseball, like a Hershey's Kiss. I thought, no, it's a real baseball. And I pull it out. And I knew right away when I looked at it, it's a baseball autographed by Mike Schmidt from the Phillies. And it's not like a, emblazoned with it. It's not a stamp. He hand signed it, and it has a certificate of authenticity. And I'm like, you're fucking joking, right? I mean, that's just crazy. And he goes, no. He goes, I can't. I wanted to thank you for all the shows you've given me so much. And he was real nice and so accommodating, and they drove from Bakersfield and they gave me the baseball. It was like way out of line, like way too much cool stuff, and I thanked him. I hugged him. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. And so now I get porn cookie and crazy baseball. Like all of my childhood is right there, like the chocolate and porn and baseball's awesome. And everybody came in, and then I sold shirts, and I sold all the shirts except one. I have one medium left, but it was crazy. Like everybody bought shirts, and then there were people who had pre-ordered shirts, and I handed those out. And I mentioned our friend Amity. Amity unfortunately didn't make it. She had gotten her Kickstarter shirt. I brought it, and I was going to make plans for her for Saturday for breakfast. She wasn't at the show. And I was like, oh, what a drag. So I didn't get to make plans with her. But everybody else was very nice, and they stayed, and I took pictures. Jeff came, this poor kid Jeff. He also got a Kickstarter shirt for San Francisco instead. And he said to me, he's like, you are the best part of my week. My car got stolen. I said, oh my God, I can't believe your car got stolen. And he's like, yeah, my car got stolen and my wallet was inside and had all of my cards in it, and I couldn't believe it. And I tried to, and he starts telling me the story, and I go, Jeff, I don't know why you're telling me all this. I don't care. And he's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm talking so much. I go, don't stop. You're not, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I care. It's just, I got other shirts and stuff. But that's fine. I'm sorry. But it was like such a dick move. Literally, it was like, I'm in the line at LAX. Calm the fuck down, Jeff. Your car got stolen. We're not in fucking kindergarten. Silence. But he was very nice and gracious that I busted his balls in front of everybody, and he didn't care. And everybody came up, and I took pictures. Everybody was really nice, and I gave them all the shirts, and people left. And it was funny. Lou and Gina were there, and I looked up, and they were gone. And then Lily, Jason, and Toby were gone. And eventually, after I signed everything, and everybody was so cool. Kaya was there, and Kaya asked if she could take Amity's shirt. She's a friend of Amity's. I said, absolutely. So Kaya was there. Katie, there was a girl named Katie who came to the show. I didn't meet her at the show, but I did see her. Earlier in the night, I was in the green room, and I poked my head out. I went into the hallway to go use the restroom, and then I popped out, and there was a girl in the hallway, and she saw me. She's like, hi. I said, hi. You looking for a restroom? She's like, yeah. And she just kind of she started to go into the back. And I go, no, that's not it. I go, that's a green room, and that's like an office. I go, this is a restroom, and then there's one down the hall. She was okay, thanks. And I went into the green room. And I didn't meet her after the show. But then when I get back to my room, there's an email from her. I'm really shy around people. I'm so sorry. I loved your show. And that was her. It was Katie. She's like, I met you in the hallway, and I didn't even say hi to you, and I'm sorry. It's because I'm shy. And I go, now I feel bad. I should have said something, in the hallway. But everybody was so nice who came to the show. So then eventually it gets down to me, and it's me and a guy, Drew. and his buddy Paul, and then Kilt Bill, Bill, who's supports the show, and his friend Sylvester. They saw the first night of the show in San Francisco. So they came out. So it was the four of them and me, and we wound up shooting the breeze. We talked for 45 minutes. And then they're like, do you want to eat? I says, yeah, actually, I haven't eaten all day. I had 2 unripe bananas. So I go in the back, and Jim and Aaron were so nice, and I hugged them and thanked them. And I go to a lot of theaters around the country, and the first one I was ever at was the Dark Room. So inevitably, whenever I go to other theaters, I'm judging them against the Dark Room, and all of them so far have come up wanting for me. I mean, those people are so great to me, and their green room is huge, and they're willing to give me beverages and be nice and give me my space and do the music, and they did the sound. I should tell you this, in the middle of the show, he had the beat sheet for the cues, and I'm doing a story, and all of a sudden the lights go out and the music hits. And I'm standing on the stage, and I wait for the cue to end, and then it comes back up. And people stop clapping, and I go, hey, Jim. And he goes, yeah? I go, that was about a half hour early on that cue. And he's like, what? I looked at your sheet. And I go, yeah, if you'll look at it again, you kind of jumped the gun. And he goes, oh my God, I am so sorry. I go, that's okay, Jim. It's not a problem. It happens in every city I'm in. It's not because everything else was flawless. He nailed it. But that one, and then afterwards, it was funny. I was talking to Lily and Toby and Jason, and they were like, that actually worked because they've seen the show 3 times. They go, we actually kind of liked that there. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'll consider putting it there. But then why didn't I just make the whole, I think now maybe they just want the whole show to be music cues. That's what I'm thinking. Like, the less you talk, if you have music play, that would be better probably. Oh, thanks. You've seen the show, So the 4 guys are like, dude, you want to go eat? And I said, yeah. So I went and I said my goodbyes to Aaron and Jim. And we go out and they're like, I said, where are we eating? They go, we're taking you to a place called Tommy's. And they said, it's world famous. I said, okay. I went to my room, dropped some stuff off. I went down, met Drew. We went to this restaurant. It was right by my hotel. And it was called Tommy's Old Time Joint. And we walked in, and right when I walked in, I knew that I had seen it on television. It was on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. And the thing was, we walked in, it was like 1:45, and they have a lunch counter that you wait in line, and you just walk up, and it's like meat and 2 sides or whatever. And they had plates, and then they had sandwiches, and they had fucking pastrami and turkey and brisket of beef, barbecue, and cheesecake, and just like literally, they should have just held me down and kept kicking me in the stomach. Like and the pastrami, it's fucking 1 a.m. I can't eat that shit. But I wanted to just hang out with the guys, which was great. So I ordered a fucking pastrami sandwich. We went and sat down, and I gave half of my sandwich away. I just wanted to hang out. I didn't give a shit. I'm too fucking wired to eat anyway. And it was just cool to hang out with Drew and Paul. And, they've been fans since Never Not Funny, and Bill too. And Bill's seen Never Not Funny live. He's come and seen me do stand up. It was just great to hang out with them, all 4 of them. And at the end of the night, they dropped me off at the hotel, and I was fucking groggy. And of course, I stayed up till 4. And I Googled traveling without ID because I knew the next day I was going to have to get on a plane without my fucking license. And also Saturday, I was leaving like late in the afternoon, like 3, because I had budgeted time to hang out in the morning for breakfast because people want to hang out now. So I couldn't get, Amity didn't come to the show. So I actually sent an email to Toby, Lily, and Jason because I knew because they had sent me an email. They said, or Twitter, they said, hey man, we're driving home Sunday. If you can't fly, we'll drive you home. We're going to Irvine on Sunday. So I wrote them a Twitter. I said, look, I'm finding out that it's not that hard to fly without an ID, but do you guys want to have breakfast tomorrow? And I sent an email to all 3 of them. And I said, here's my phone number. Text me if you want. So they didn't text me that night. And I stayed up till 4, like I said, in the room, and then I crashed. Woke up, and the way to fly without ID, by the way, is you go in and you say, I'm flying selectee today. And they said that the TSA will look at you and go, forget your ID. That's like it's code. And then you'll say yes, and then they'll just take you aside and go through all of your stuff. So basically, flying without an ID is the same thing as not taking off your belt. They're still going to go through all your shit and pat you down. So I woke up in the morning. It was around 10 to 11. And, or no, it was 11 o'clock. I apologize. No, it was 10 after 11. Numbers. And I looked at my phone, and I got a text from Jason, and he's like, hey, we're going to breakfast at this place called Oliva. I don't know. And we're going at 11. So if you want to go, and it was already 10 after, and I was like, fuck, I missed him. So I texted him. I go, hey, I missed you guys. You're probably sitting down eating. And then I saw the link to the restaurant, and I hit it, and I put it in Google, and it said, you are 49 seconds from this restaurant. It's like, what? So I set it up, and then I wrote him back. I go, hey, I'm actually super close. Are you guys eating? Are you done? And he never wrote me back. So I called him, and he answers the phone. He goes, hey, we're walking to the restaurant now. I said, well, dude, I can make it. It says I'm like a minute away. He goes, yeah, we'll save a chair for you. So sure enough, I got out, and I went to, it was 49 seconds driving, by the way. So then I put in the walking, and it was 2 blocks away. So I walked down to the restaurant. I saw them waiting outside. It was Jason, Lily, Toby, and then Lily's brother, Bobby, and his girlfriend, Kim, who works for Twitter. And I scared the shit out of her because I could not stop talking about Twitter and how it's the most genius invention and how I go, do you have stock? She goes, yeah, we have stock options. I go, hold them. I go, you are going to be a multi-billionaire. I go, I don't care how many you have. I go, that's literally Twitter is the CNN that of the future that you will bring with you. You can choose who to listen to. I'm fascinated now with Twitter. I just think it's a genius invention. I used to hate it. Now I think it's the most brilliant thing in the world. And it's literally replaced TV and stuff for me now. Like I wind up on there reading everything. Just this weird aggregation. I know it's weird. It's fucking strange. I obsess. So we went and we had breakfast, and dude, this fucking amazing breakfast. Like, and they were all, dude, they're like food sharers. So they're like, all right, well, let's order this and we'll all share. Cause the guy's like, we got the best French toast in the world. So we're going to order a plate of French toast for the whole thing to share. And then Lily's like, I'm going to get my own too, because I don't want to share French toast with any of you people because I'm very mean. And I said, okay, you're very mean. So she gets her own French toast. And I ordered, they had a thing like eggs baked in a clay pot with like fucking, enchiladas and stuff like chilaquiles. And I go, I'll get that and we'll all try it. Let's do it. And then Jason got a pulled pork sandwich. Everybody got all this food, and we're all talking. And Bobby and Kim do not know me. Like, they saw me the night before at the show for the first time ever. And I guess Bobby already downloaded the podcast. Like, he was so excited. He liked the show. And it could have been a lie. They could have been lying to me. He already downloaded the podcast. Really? You went to the hotel and downloaded the podcast? Did you, Bobby? It's not going anywhere. I'm sure he waited. But still, breakfast was great. We hung out with them, and they brought my fucking eggs. And I was scared about my eggs. I even told the owner, or the waiter, I go, I'm scared about this, dude. I go, I don't like a poached egg, and it's like a cheesy, it's like you're telling me it's soupy? And he goes, yeah, it's soupy, but you dunk like grilled bread in it. I'm like, I don't like soup. I go, I like soup. I don't like soupy. It's the Y that gets me. And he's like, well, it's really good. And so I ordered it. I figured the whole table could have some anyway. So the food came, was fucking amazing. The eggs thing was amazing. It wasn't soupy. You dunked your bread in. It was like a big fucking, like I said, chilaquiles, like a nacho thing. Oh, so good. And then we get like a cornmeal olive oil cake with a side of fresh cream and sour cherries. Dude, fucking amazing. We're all digging our forks in that like prisoners. And I told the waiter, I go, hey, when the check comes, give it to me. And he's like, okay, do you want it now? I said, no, when you bring it, just hand it to me. Because they drove from Irvine. They bought T-shirts. They bought Denver shirts. They saw me in Denver. It's ridiculous. So the check comes, and he hands it right to me. And Jason goes, no, give me the check. I said, no. I go, you guys, you came. He goes, no, I'm serious. Give me the check. We want to buy you breakfast. And I go, you guys, you donate every month to the show. He's a monthly subscriber, Jason. And then I go, you bought shirts. You drive from Irvine. I go, it's ridiculous. There's no way. Toby, they all donated. And he's like, look, he goes, we wanted to bring you here. That was the whole point. You're not doing this. I go, that's ridiculous. He goes, you will be insulting me if you don't let me pay. I go, he goes, will you split it? I said, all right, I'll split it. So we split it. And we paid, and then we walked me back to my hotel. And then I gathered up all my stuff. And I had to check out. I got to get to the airport. And I was on time. I was fine. But I wanted to get there a little early because I knew I was going to get a fucking thumb up my ass. So I gather all my stuff, and I go downstairs, and I check out, and I give them the ticket, and I leave, and I give them all my 9 keys. And I have to keep my parking ticket to get the Sentra out. And then you got to drop it in a drop box. So I get in the elevator, and I write it down to parking gate 3. I think it was level 3. And I got my bags. I'm all ready to go. And the elevator opens on the level from where my car is. And standing right in the elevator doorway. He's not on the floor. He's not looking. He's in front of my elevator. He's like a foot away from the door. This massive dude. I mean, he's heavy. And he's got like a weird like spin doctor's dude beard. And he's wearing shorts and flip-flops. And he has a neck scarf. And the second the door opens, I'm like, that guy's gay. Like I just knew.
Really?
And it opens up, and he's filling the entire elevator doorway, and I got all my stuff, and it opens up, and the door opens, and he looks, and he sees me, and his eyes get really wide, and he smiles, and he goes, "Hey there, bear." So, and I go, "Hey there," and he goes, "Oh, let me let you off," and he backs off to let me out. And I was so happy because you know what? I had met polite Asian guy and I was good with him at LAX. But then I had burned up all my Asian karma by stealing the foot lift from the shoe shine stand there at the San Francisco airport. So I was on an even keel with the Asians, which was fine. But then I had left Safeway, and somehow I had gotten in the doghouse with the gay people of San Francisco by almost having a fight with Randy. Randy was furious at me, and I was so disappointed. I'm like, in San Francisco, I'm like, I like you guys. I'm fine. And then, sure enough, the door opens, and all it took was 3 words to restore my karma with the gay people of the universe. Literally, the door, he looks at me, and his eyes, "Hey there, bear." Oh, yeah. I was so happy. I was like, good, fine, even. Let's go. We're even, Steven. I don't even want to talk to anybody else. I just want to get the fuck out of here. So I left San Francisco even with the Asians and even with the gays. Perfect. I'll call it a cat's game. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend on Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter at Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow our friend Lily Von Stupp at Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp and Twitter.com/MNTs. You can be her friend at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. And if you want to write her a personal note and request a photo of her in boxer shorts, tank top, slippers, and a ponytail, you can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com/40year-old boy. Please buy all his stuff.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. That is our friend Lily Von Stupp's show. It is 10 o'clock p.m. at 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine every Monday. And hey, Lily.
Hey, Michael.
How are you?
Good.
Fantastic news. And how was the teas this week?
Fantastic.
Yes. Were you involved? Were you just there?
I was in 2 skits as a talkie girl.
Nice. You definitely got that going for you. I know you.
I got to slap somebody across the face, and I got to kiss my co-host.
Big.
Yes, it was awesome.
That's great news. Was Eddie your co-host?
No.
Filth.
Filth, yes.
Look at you jumping the fence. Was it a lady or a man?
A man.
Whoa, that's a big change for you. So the Monday Night Teas is coming this week. Is it a theme show this week?
It is Buster Balloon's Cartoon Funhouse.
Now, I will tell you this. Buster Balloon's Cartoon Funhouse, I'm sure a lot of you out there now are scoffing. You're like, oh my God, I can't possibly. But first of all, remember, there are naked girls there as well.
Yes.
But I can vouch for Buster Balloon. It's like a vaudeville type of thing, but he does all this crazy balloon stuff, and it's funny. I mean, I have to admit, it's not comedy club funny, but what he does extremely well. So go check out Buster Balloon, and then also there's nice ladies. Sure, any fancy ladies from out of town or just local people?
No, but you get to see Hello Kitty strip, and you get to see who else is Storm.
Oh,
Jezebel Thunder's doing Storm.
Very nice.
Oh.
And apparently you'll be doing Joanne Worley. Apparently, Are you involved in the show, or are you just there?
I am not.
So you're working the door, though.
I'm working the door.
So as always,
Not
folks,
grab my ass.
if you want to grab her ass, you'll get in free, as you know. Mention the show too, though. You can't just grab her ass and get in free.
Not grab my
You need to mention the show. And do me a favor. This has been a problem in the past. When I say smack her ass or grab her ass, just do just that. You don't have to go. You don't have to try for any penetration or go knuckle deep or try to stick a finger in there. Just back off, folks. Have some respect, and she's a classy girl. So very rarely will she tolerate a finger in her ass. It's not getting you in free. Finger actually null and void. That invalidates the offer. Palm, perfect. You're in. That's the 3 clubs at Santa Monica and Vine every 10 o'clock on Monday night. Go and check it out, and go to mnt's.com or MondayNightTees.com. MondayNightTees.com for all the information. And also on Facebook, you can go to the Monday Night Tees page. Want to remind you folks that on Facebook.com, there are plenty of people who have put up pages for me to come to their towns, like Detroit and Toronto and New Orleans is still. New Orleans might be getting shelved. I don't know. But also a couple of new pages are up. I mentioned Buffalo last week. Buffalo is up. And now there's a Vancouver page. So if you want to bring Mike Schmidt, that's me, to Vancouver, go ahead and sign up on the page and let me know that there's some momentum so I can get up there to the, what is it? I don't know what the greatest little town in Canada. What's it called? I don't even know. I don't know. It's just Vancouver. I want to come to British Columbia is my point. So let's go ahead and sign up on the page and get me to come to Vancouver. And Toronto is still in the loop, and London, of course, is still in the loop. The nice lady who sent me a spreadsheet, I actually contacted her and sent her an email. So I'll have to hear back from her and see where we're at regarding London. I have ideas about London, but we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. And Detroit, all of these shows I'm still trying to take care of. Wisconsin, we're trying to book these shows. So if you do want to go ahead and make sure that I see that you are thinking about wanting me to come to your town, sign up on those pages or start a page. That's fine too. Although too many pages might be crazy. Right now I've got like 8 pages out there. But ideally, you know what? I would love to do this fucking show once a week. I would love to travel once a week and do the show out of town. That'd be fantastic. So start pages. Let's do it. That doesn't cost anything to start a fucking page, right? Until Zuckerberg wises up and starts dinging us for face views. Page views? Face views? I don't know what the fuck they're called. Face views. That's fine. That's Facebook. So remember that's on Facebook. Do that stuff. And remember that I am coming to certain towns already. Right now, the shows are scheduled for March 2nd. At the Fabrifaction Theater in Atlanta, 8 o'clock show. That's next week, I believe. Not this coming Friday, but next Friday. Tickets are on sale at brownpapertickets.com for all of the shows I'm going to mention. But let's buy some Atlanta tickets so it doesn't look like it's just going to be me and Chipper Jones and a bowl of grits. Let's buy some tickets for Atlanta. That's coming up at the Fabrifaction Theater next Friday night at 8 o'clock, March 2nd. That'll be fun, so go ahead and check that out. Also, tickets are available at Brown Paper Tickets for my appearance March 23rd at the DC Art Center in Adams Morgan. I guess that's where it's called. That's what I've been told to say. Adam Morgan's, I don't know, but it's in DC at the DC Art Center. That show is actually, it's a small room. I should tell you, let's talk about Washington for just a second. I talked to the guy who was going to do my tech, and he did the walkthrough of the room, and he gave me the layout of it, and it's small. It's a smaller room, and the seats right now, I think there's only like 10 tickets left for the show. So let's buy those. That would be pretty cool. And also, that show has a 2-hour hard out. Show starts at 7:30. I have to be out by 9:30. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm trying to figure out how to shape it and figure it out. I'm just going to stop talking, basically, is what I'm going to do. But they've been very nice and they're very cool, but that's their rules, and there's a show after me. So I do know there's a show coming in after me that has to start setting up at 9:30. And then when I do the merch stuff, we're going to be in the lobby with their crowd. It's going to be odd. So DC is going to be kind of a weird thing. Maybe maybe there's an idea where there's a restaurant close by afterwards we can go for a meet and greet or something. I don't know. If you guys know, tell me. But it's weird to do that on a Friday night, I'm sure. Who knows? But tickets are available still for March 23rd in Washington, D.C. at the D.C. Art Center. But that is a 2-hour hard out show and a very small venue. Tickets are going fast, so go ahead and pick those up. Remember that April 27th, I will be in Cleveland at Big Dog Theater. Tickets are actually moving for that too. It is a barn though. Tickets are definitely not sold out for that. It is a giant, giant room. So any and all ticket sales are going to be great. So go ahead and hop on there and buy them now. So I know that it's not just me shouting into a void. And also June 1st at the Cambridge YMCA Theater in Boston. Tickets are going well for that too. So if you're going to be coming to the Boston show, please pick up tickets. And it's so funny. I mentioned setting up chairs. And then people were like, yeah, I'll help set up chairs. I go, dudes, I was kidding. You don't really have to help set up chairs. And they're like, oh, man, we really wanted to set up chairs. And now I'm like, fuck. All right, you guys are setting up the chairs. I'll know more when I get to town or the closer it gets. But yeah, if you volunteered for chair duty, you might be on call. So stick with it. Don't fret. I'm sure I'll find something for you to fucking do. Maybe you can come with me to Safeway and bodyguard me in a fight. So yeah, make sure that these shows are all squared away. There's at brownpapertickets.com. Go there for Cleveland, for Atlanta, for Boston, for Washington, D.C. Those are available. And once other shows go up, they will also be available at Brown Paper Tickets. Remember, you can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com to the Joe Business page and pick up mugs and mouse pads through the Zazzle link. You can get autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds and cock ring watches through the tweakedaudio.com/40 link. And then you can also go to the download set link and buy year 1, year 2, or year 3 of this show, or buy them all together in the Lord of the Schmidt set. Those are available for certain individual prices and then a combined price. And I think we've all had more than enough numbers here, so I don't need to go into how much those are. If you guys want to donate to the show, in the upper left-hand corner of the MikeSchmidtComedy.com, every single page on MikeSchmidtComedy.com has a donation, little Schmitty with his pocket out. Go ahead and click on that. You can donate to the show. You can make a one-time donation, or you can support monthly for $2, $5, or $10. Like our friend, here's a name, Jason Turnbaugh. Jason donates to the show and also paid for half my breakfast and sent me a picture of his people face dog on my phone. Good. That's perfect. Hat trick. So that's fine. And then also our friend Aaron Sunday, who I went and had chimichurri with Lily. Me, Lily, and Aaron and Rachel went out to for his birthday. I met them. And then our friend Michael Hines also donates to the show monthly. Thank you, Michael Hines. And also our good friend, Nicole Gentry. Thank you, Nicole Gentry, for donating to the show every month. That's Nicole Gentry and Michael Hines, Aaron Sunday, Jason Turnbaugh. All of those people donate to the show. And again, you can too if you go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and in the upper left-hand corner, click on the donate link, and you can do that through PayPal, and we'll all be friends. And let's see. I think there was something. I know what it is. I'm sure you're all at home right now going, isn't he going to fucking tell us what happened at the airport with no driver's license? Yes, I am, as a matter of fact. So, like I said, I packed up all my stuff and I left to go. And I said, I saw the guy at the elevator. Hey there, bear. Oh, even with the gays. So I get in the Sentra. I hop on the freeway. I'm rolling. And I'm just so excited because the show was great. I'm thrilled. I can't wait to go to the airport and get the hell out of there. I got a stomach full of fucking amazing breakfast. And I go to Hertz. I drop off the car. I grab my stuff. I ride the fucking air train tram thing. And I head to United. And I know it's going to be a pain in the ass. Because the thing is, I'm not going to say that I'm flying Select T because they said that they will rifle through your stuff. And my wife flew a few years ago. She was in Boston and she lost her driver's license. And all she did was she went to the counter and told them, and they found out that she had flown previously into Boston, and they matched up the ticket and they said, okay, you're fine. Like, they just looked at her credit cards. So I'm like, oh, maybe I can do that. That would be great. So I get in line, and dude, I should tell you this too. The airport in San Francisco, dead. I mean, like, there's like nobody there. So I'm like, well, that's good news. So I pull in and I get up to the thing of, I go through Hertz. I go inside. I get to the United kiosk. I get to the front, and I go to check my bag, which I had done online. I already had a boarding pass. I already had checked my stuff. And the guy goes, okay, well, you get your boarding pass? Yeah. And I go, great. And he goes, all right, I'll check your bag. All I need is your ID. And I go, here's where it gets awkward. He goes, what's up? I said, you know what? I had my ID when I got here, and unfortunately, I lost it. He goes, how'd you lose your ID? I said, well, it's a long story. But I went to a grocery store, and I mean, it's always in out. You go to rent a car, and then you go to the airport, and then at the hotel. I kept handing it to people, and then I wound up at a grocery store, and to get, and it's so funny. I should tell you this. When the kid at the grocery store asked for my license, I looked at him and I said, are you serious? And he goes, yeah. And then he said he needed it out, and I handed it to him. I go, the last guy I gave my license to let me leave with a car. You're giving me 2 bags of juice and future discounts. It doesn't match up. So I'm telling that I'm doing basically the bit for the guy at United. And I said, yeah, and I traded it. And then when I left, I got into a dust up in the parking lot. And I said, I opened my wallet and I showed him, I have the Safeway card still where my license goes. I said, so I have the Safeway card. And he goes, okay. He goes, well, I mean, you flew in, right? I go, yeah, you can verify the flight. I flew in on Thursday. And he goes, okay. And you got your credit cards? I says, yeah. So it's awesome. I'm going to breeze in. It's perfect. And part of me is like I'm waiting for them to fuck me, and I'm ready to be mad. I'm ready to go fucking crazy. Cause part of me just wants, cause then they're going to, I'm thinking of anything. I'm offering my credit cards. I'm offering, I said, you know what? I have my phone. You can look at my phone. It's got my name and it's got my pictures. And then part of me is like, well, there's a picture of my cock on my phone. I probably shouldn't hand this over. There's a couple of them. And then I'm like, wait a minute. You know what? Actually, that's not bad. If this guy sees a picture of my cock, just send it over to the guys in fucking LA. Because they saw my cock before I left. They took an x-ray of it. They've certainly got my cock on file. So just send them and match them up and let me get on the goddamn plane and let's do this. So I got the phone. He goes, I don't need to see your phone. Just give me your wallet. And I hand him the wallet. He looks at my credit cards and he goes, okay, great. And I said, okay, so we're good. And he goes, well, no, we're going to have to take you over here and go through your luggage. I said, oh, fuck, of course we are. So I go, they bring me over to the side. and they take my bag and they go through my duffel bag and they start sorting through, and then they go through my laptop and they open and they turn it on and then they turn it off and they check I've got a million cords in there. What's this for? It charges my iPod, charges my iPod Shuffle. It's a power cord for my laptop. So and they're nice. I should tell you this. They're not being mean. They're just being thorough. So they go, okay, and they take my big suitcase and they open it up. And they start rooting through my clothes, and I'm like, oh boy. So they open my shaving kit, and they go, all right, and they start looking at everything, and I go, well, why you open my shaving kit? It's going on the plane. It's not a problem. And he goes, yeah, but we need to make sure everything that goes on the plane. And I said, okay, I got to shut the fuck up. It's like I want to start interfering, but I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. You're the one without a license. Shut up. So he goes through and he takes out, he squirts out some toothpaste, and then he squirts out some of my scrubby soap, and then he's crazy. He pulls out my nail clippers, looks at the Carmex, and then he puts the shaving kit away and he starts rooting through my clothes. And then in my suitcase, there's a big pink box with a sticker on it that says hot cookie. And I see it and I'm like, oh, yeah. And the guy picks it up and he opens up the box. And it's a disembodied torso with a vagina on it. Literally, there's no head. There's no head. And there are no arms and no legs. It's just tits and a vagina on a giant cookie. And he opens up and he looks at it. And he kind of smirks, and he looks at me, and he goes, hot cookie in the Castro? And I said, yeah. And he goes, you're going to have to take a bite of this. I said, are you serious? He goes, yeah, if it's going to go on the plane, you have to. So, I take it out, and I didn't eat it. I mean, it was in the box, and I open it up, and it's got no head and no arms, and it's got tits, and it's got a vagina, and part of me wanted to just Ted Bundy the shit out of it and just bite the whole vagina out, like literally just cram it in my mouth and just and freak them all the fuck out. But I also didn't want to stand there with a mouthful of chocolate vagina and try to talk to them and explain to them where the fuck I'm going. So I grabbed the cookie, and I was like, all right, do you care where? And he goes, I don't care, wherever. So I bit off one of the fake arms, like one of the little nubby arms, and I'm chewing. And it was a macaroon. I didn't know it was a macaroon. It was like coconut macaroon. And he just laughs. He goes, all right. And he puts it in the fucking box, wraps it up, and puts it on the conveyor belt and sends it off. And he goes, all right, you're good to go. And you mark it up with a pen. And I'm like, come on. I am just stupid enough to think that when people listen to me and they listen to the show, they should take my honesty and go, oh, wow, how refreshing his unvarnished honesty is. And the fact that he's willing to have a scorched earth policy and have no friends or no fucking future is so refreshing and great. But then they'll say to me, hey, do you need somebody rigged for the steak? I go, yes, I do. Done. They'll take care of it for me. Thanks, Snake Rape. Oh, no one listens to show, bro? Wonder why? Wonder why no one listens to show, bro? I don't want to listen to show, bro. Please. Tightrope. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.